I'm a gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Pricing why they mad, cause I'm really Navy faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun-toting, Bible reading, God believing, truth speaking American. This MAGA season, Democrats committing treason. I know they think it's sweet, but you don't know who you dealing with. This for free thinkers only, you ain't got no membership. They free, General Flynn, out the cage, Cassie innocent. Barton Roger Stone, cause the run know that he innocent. We need to kick out every single illegal immigrant. Mandatory voter ID laws we need to implement. Tell Justin Smollett that I know this MAGA country. Tell China we know they trying to play us like some dummies. I looked deep into it and I did the math. Why did Obama send money to that Wuhan lab? What is George Soros doing with all of his cash? Why did China take that Harvard guy and drop him a bag? Why is there so much propaganda? Funny you ask. How about that Bill Gates vaccine? Now, sorry I'll pass, cause I'm a gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Pricing why they mad, cause I'm really Navy faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Pricing why they mad, cause I'm really Navy faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk, take that leap of faith, stay involved, trust God, and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse, that God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.
Hello, Jimmy.
Good
and hello
evening,
to everybody
Ruby.
in the chat. How's it going?
It's going all right. It's going all right. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm all right. I'm better now, because to be honest with you and with everybody else in the chat, if it wasn't like me logging off when I needed to, or taking the time to process this, I would have went like berserk, because it was already happening inside. A lot of
Right.
emotions, a lot of anger, a lot of things that I haven't felt in a long time,
Right.
you know. So, and this is why we're gonna dive really deep into this. And I want to let everybody know in the chat as well that if you have any feelings and you want to hop on or whatever, we'll do that like a little later on, as soon as we present everything first. But there's just one thing that I told Jimmy a few days ago on the phone, is that we are not gonna entertain any comments that praise or celebrate what happened to Charlie. So that's one thing that we can all agree on. That's not what's going to happen here tonight, whether you like them or not. I don't care, because it's not just about the man himself. It was an assault on all of us. It was an
Oh yeah.
assault on freedom of speech. It was an assault in everything that America stands for.
Mhm.
So that right there, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. If you guys want to join or not, that's up to you. But that's where I'm at. I feel very
Yeah.
heavy with that.
Yeah, it's gotten to a point to where, they say, oh, well, we need to have an honest debate. We need to have a conversation. Well, a man was killed for having a conversation and having debates with folks. So sorry, that time is over, you know. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I totally agreed with you that when we talked about that we're not going to have anybody come on here celebrating something that happened to another individual. It's not happening. So if you feel that way, you might as well just log off and not watch us the rest of the show. Seriously. We are called the Unrelenting Political Corner, and unrelenting is what we are going to be tonight. I do not think in the little over a year that we've been doing this, I do not think that we've had an episode where we've talked about one thing. But there's so many variables to this that it needs to be discussed. Things need to be brought out to people. Other things need to be brought out to people for them to start thinking. Get those damn brains moving is what needs to happen. This was a huge wake up call. A lot of us, I woke up during COVID. Some people woke up back in 2010, 2015. And I'm hoping that this event, I don't like the way it's gone down, but hopefully people will start waking up and start asking some real questions. And we're going to present some information to you guys tonight that I really want you to consider and think about. We're going to go, y'all know me. We are going to go down some rabbit holes. And remember, what we say on this program tonight, and if you come on the stage and you talk to, this is all of our opinions. This is us presenting what we have seen and what we believe or lean towards believing. So don't come at us. Don't come at us and say, oh, I can't believe this and this and this. You guys are doing this. You know what? I ain't got time for that. So I know for me, Ruby asked me if I saw another story that hit today. And I'm like, Ruby, no, I did not see it because I have been on this ever since it happened. I've gotten so many messages, so many videos sent to me. And I'll tell you, there's been a lot of people that sent me videos, and some guys, I appreciate you guys send them to me, but I just have not had time to watch them all. And I am sorry for that. I know that someone said, Jimmy, this will be great to put on the show. Yes, I appreciate that, but I'm still behind on just looking at my regular sources. So it's been a crazy week.
Right. And also, I do want to touch on, after we talk about the major issue, what happened behind the scenes after this assassination. A lot of things happened behind the scenes. So while everybody was rightly, focused on what happened to Charlie, which is not wrong, right? I agree. We should be very, very focused on what happened to Charlie and what that means for us. But a lot of people are not seeing what's going on around in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Things passed. And we're
Yeah, there's a lot. There was a lot of stuff that's happened. We may have to, I may have to pull that information and, talk about it next week. Good thing is we didn't have homework from last week's show that we had to do. So
I mean, that everything went out the window when Charlie was assassinated. Quite literally, the whole day I was in shock. I couldn't even shed a tear. Like, I was just in shock. And then Gigi and Jesse went live, and I joined their live. and I was still in a state of anger. So
Mhm.
I'm sure that probably came across in my tone. But then after that, it's a good thing to kind of talk it out.
You
Um,
kind of glitched there for a second.
oh yeah, can you see me now? Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
yeah, you're good. You're good now. Yeah, because you said after that and then you glitched.
Okay, so I said like after I joined Gigi and Jesse's live, I felt much better
Okay,
because I spoke about it, but I was still in a state of shock and anger.
right.
And then after that, Erica Kirk posted her announcement. Like she made her comments. And that's when the floodgates opened for me. I finally was able to like shed tears and cry it out because I was like, damn, this is messed up, you know?
Right.
And then after I let those emotions finally go, because it was really stuck, I'm telling you, like I really was like, I wanted I wanted to avenge it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was
Right.
angry. It was pure hatred. Then I started seeing a whole lot of theories on the internet. Like the internet is still blowing up with lots of theories.
Oh yeah.
But like I told you, we can do theories on another night, but we need to really focus on the act itself because it wasn't just one man that they killed. And that's a phrase that I'm hearing a lot is that you can kill a man, but you can't kill the ideology.
Yeah, and another thing is in the immediate aftermath of everything, and it's still continuing. Like you said, the internet is still blowing up with it. There's a book that was written called Chaos, and if I'm correct, it was written after the Charles Manson murders. And basically, what that book was saying was how the media will just put out all this different stuff. It was this person, it was that person, they came from here, it came from there, they went, all this information just to create mental chaos in people. So you don't know what to believe. So you're just like, you know what? F it. Whatever happens, happens. I have no control over this. And then you forget about it, not knowing that that's exactly that the deep state, yes, that they are the ones that want you to just, sweep it under the rug and move on. So that is a tactic that they use to overwhelm people's psyche. And I'll tell you, it was like Saturday morning. I was like, oh my God, there's more stuff coming out. There's this,
Right.
there's that. And I've sent stuff to Ruby. And I'm like, Ruby, did you see this part? Did you see this part? So they're continually doing this. So it's something that people need to understand that is a tactic that is being used to get you to just not look into this at all and not think about it and move on. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along.
Yes. So I am thankful for people like Quinn Wright, who kind of um, does his videos in a way that makes you think deeper. So if you've been watching his videos, that's kind of like already a thing, you know? So
Yeah.
when I was seeing explanations and a lot of symbolism in
Mm-hmm.
everything, I
Mm-hmm.
sent it to Quinn and he told me, like, oh, I'm not surprised. And it was the exact same type of way that Quinn investigates something. Like people on the internet are investigating, and that's a good thing. Like people
Oh yeah.
are finally waking up. So that's why what we're going to talk about tonight, I hope people are ready for it. Open your mind for it. I think we've done a great job of being open minded and showing that because even though I may not believe in that, at least I'm open minded enough to entertain it and be like, well, let me look at it. Even though I'm sad and angry and I don't want to believe it, or there's cognitive dissonance, or I'm just not accepting it for whatever reason, at least I'm okay with looking at it.
Right.
But that
Right.
does not it does not disregard that this man lost his life and the reason why. So I want to talk about the reason why he really lost his life. And
All right.
then we can like maneuver to whatever you got.
Do we want to acknowledge the folks in the chat? We need to do that.
Yes. So let's say hello to everybody. And I'm so glad that everybody is here. Like the chat is already on fire. A lot of people are here. I see Quinn is here. Speaking of him. He's in the chat. Jerica's in the chat. John Marciano. Oh, and Tony's in the chat. Finally, I had to tell her, "Hey, are you ever gonna come back to doing your job, which is to moderate the chat?" No, I'm just kidding. So, miss it so much more. Jane, Dallas, Thrifty, King of Dots. Welcome to the chat. Haven't seen him in a while. Who else? Oh, Jay. Joseph is in the chat. Hey, Joseph. JG. Who else? Who else? I think is Beverly here? I think I saw her name. Janie is here. Um, wow, guys. Yeah, I'm,
You
I'm
know,
scrolling all the way up.
yeah, at one point, I think it was last week's episode, or might have been the week before, towards the end of the show, I asked folks on a scale of 1 to 10, how deep down the rabbit holes would you like to go?
Right.
And there were quite a few 10s. So if you put a 10 in the
Mhm.
chat that night, then I hope that what I present to you will will satisfy you.
Yes, Nadine, Joe and Fran, Leaf Tree, they have joined the chat. And you know what? Joe and Fran had a special live as well. I didn't watch the entire thing, but I watched a little bit of it. And there's one thing, man, Joe, please. I know I always come on his show and I'm like, hey, I gotta disagree with you on something. But I just wanna mention one thing that Joe said in his live was about neutrality. That's one thing that I will die on the hill that you can no longer be neutral. No matter how good you think it is to be neutral. I don't know why, for some reason, for me, my personal opinion, we do not have the luxury to be neutral anymore.
Uh, I will agree with that, and I'll follow that up with I do believe there's a difference between being neutral and being peaceful. You
Okay.
can,
Okay.
yeah, we are in a position to where being neutral is no longer acceptable. You got to pick a side, whether it's good or evil. Hold on.
Mhm,
You got to
mhm,
pick a side, good or evil.
mhm.
But one thing that I've always told folks to do, especially after, being at J6 and the aftermath of that, and different things happening, we have to remain peaceful because war and chaos is what the deep state thrives off that. They thrive
Mhm.
off that. They know how to operate in that arena. If you take that away from them, they don't know how to operate. And so let me just
Mhm.
put one point that I have on here about this particular part of the subject. Their plan, the deep state plan to start a civil war has failed
Okay.
because they were expecting. I mean, look how quick people hit the streets after George Floyd. It was like
Mhm.
hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Can anyone tell me how many businesses have been looted? How many cities have been burned? How many people have been murdered because of this? Zero.
Right.
And that's because we, as patriots, true American patriots who love the Constitution and love this country, this is why we handle problems different than they do.
Right.
And we don't want to destroy our homes and our cities that we live and work in and raise our family. We don't want to destroy what we have. But
Mhm.
somebody that hates our country and hates
Mhm.
our way of life, yes, they want to destroy what we have.
Mhm.
So yeah, the deep state thought that people would hit the streets, but that's failed, and they're continually trying to build that narrative because I seen a meme. Allegedly, it happened. I'm gonna probably use that word a lot tonight. Allegedly, that there was a picture out of Charlotte of the Patriot Front Group. And if
Mhm.
you guys don't know who the Patriot Front Group is, I highly recommend that you go and look them up because they kind of sprung up from what I saw, after J6.
Okay.
And I believe they're feds. So
Mhm.
if you hear Patriot Front Group, they're not patriots. They wear masks. They all wear khaki pants. It's like this little, and they carry around their American flags. Nah, they're bullshit. They are theater.
Okay.
So don't buy into those folks. So anyway, that's what I had to say on that part.
All right. So I'm going to start off by just describing, in my opinion, what all of this means. Because I know last week we touched on it. It's a cultural issue, it's a society issue, it's a spiritual issue.
Yep.
Or spiritual war. We also use information war. There's a lot of things at play here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I told you on the phone, it's way deeper than just Charlie.
Oh, totally. Totally.
It was an assault and a shot at freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie was one of the only people that I can think of in the right wing that was polite enough, cordial enough, nice guy that was debating people in public spaces. And that's the guy who they think is far right. And if they think that of a guy, if they think that he was far right, well, they have another thing coming to them, because Charlie was nowhere near far right to be considered far right. He was the nice guy. He was the one who would actually take time to listen to people and talk to people, because I don't think there's a lot of people that would do that. I know I wouldn't do that. So he's a better person than me, like, in my opinion. So this is what I'm thinking, right? And for them to think that taking this guy out would mean something, as if the things he was saying doesn't mean anything, because there's a lot of, like, I saw a lot of videos online of people saying, like, this doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean, like his assassination is actually really going to get to us, basically, right? So they're using this narrative as a fear tactic to scare people into silence,
Mm-hmm.
because Charlie was so outspoken.
Mm-hmm.
That will never happen. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew this, like, even before Charlie. Like, what's that phrase that says, there is let me know, chat, if you guys know this, that when you kill somebody like this, you basically you turn them into a martyr, because you couldn't disprove him, you couldn't call him a liar, so you killed him, just like they killed Jesus. There's a lot of parallels. I'm not going to get too, like, deep into that, but it's almost like you amplified his message instead of the opposite. Like, you thought you were going to accomplish the fear tactic and to push people into silence. And that never, never, never works.
I think that would have been more effective for them if this would have happened pre-2020.
Really?
Yeah, I do, because since 2020, a lot of people have woken up all across the world, and they're seeing this for what it really is.
Right.
So yeah, I think because people are in the process of waking up, it's not having the effect that they
Right.
want. That they want. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Quinn says, like Martin Luther King, big mistake when they killed him. Same thing with the JFK kind of stuff. And I still believe that this was JFK level, even though he wasn't a politician. In my opinion, I think it is that serious.
Yeah, and I'm gonna mention those two names in my little spill that I got.
Really?
Yeah, that I
Okay.
have prepared. Yeah, I'm gonna mention that.
Good. I'm happy that you are, because that's the only other instances where I can think that this sort of thing happened, like political assassinations or targets or whatever. And it was because of the message that they were spreading, and they were hated for it. Oh, Abraham Lincoln too. That's one that I forget, but that's another one that I can think of.
I have told, or I have not told, I have advised people to learn pattern recognition
Yeah.
and learn what the deep state playbook is.
Right.
Because you know, the deep state playbook is just this thick. All right. Because they use the same tactics over and over again because it's been working over and over again. But we're at a point now to where they're out of moves. There's certain things they can't do because they know they'll be busted right away.
Right. It
So,
was like a desperation thing. They're so
oh,
desperate
yeah.
that they start
So,
making mistakes. And I think this
it's,
was a big mistake.
100%.
Yeah.
I saw a real, I've seen so many videos this week. Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's one lady said, this feels very 9/11-y to me.
Oh yeah. Oof, my gosh, yes. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, especially when they were talking about the whole rifle situation. Now, Ruby said we're not going to get into every freaking detail, and we're not going to go into every detail, but there are going to be some things that I mentioned that I want folks to question. So, and then I guess when we open up the floor, open up the chat, hey, you guys can ask us whatever, I guess. We'll go from there. All right. Sorry. Go ahead, Ruby.
Okay. So then that was one thing. The fear tactic that it wouldn't work is desperation and they're going to start making mistakes. And I think this one was a big one, right? So then my next thought was about the symbolism of Charlie's shirt that said freedom and that he gets shot in the shirt that says freedom. Now, I know there's a whole rabbit hole with that as well, but I just want to keep it very simple. That right there, for millions of people to see it, that for me was what that meant. It was like very simple. Like you don't even have to read too much into it. They hate freedom. They hate the freedom of speech that he has, that we all have. We all have that right to be heard, especially in public. That's where it should happen and where it shouldn't be taken away. And yet, this is what they did. And the most basic reason for me, in my opinion, was they killed him because of what he was saying, because they hated that he was going against the far left narrative. And that is the narrative, unfortunately, that is splattered all over the TV. Every news network for years. They've been calling us Nazis. They've been calling us horrible names and dehumanizing us so that when something like this happens, they justify it in their minds.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even realize that even Charlie has the freedom to say and to speak what he believes, just like we all do. And you shouldn't have to be in fear of saying something. And I also think it was because he was Christian, to be honest. I do think he was targeted and he was taken off the board because he was a loud Christian conservative influencer. He had the influence of the entire young generation. My generation. My generation was on that boat with him.
Right.
And I do think, speaking in terms of deep state, they had to take that out. He was a huge voice. And the deep state cannot compete with a religion, basically. It's like either you worship God or you worship the government or you worship money. You know what I'm saying? Like people take things that serious. And it is once again my opinion that this nation is no longer godly. They do not believe in God anymore. They believe in government. They believe that government is going to save them. They believe that government should pay them back as if they owe something to us. Or like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like they put government in that place or they put themselves. And they
Well,
have no okay, go ahead. Let me hear your thoughts on that.
I was just going to say the way that they have built the system is, they have made it in a way to where a lot of people, government replaced, you teaching your kids. Government replaced, you going out and earning a living for yourself. Government, says, what you can and can't have in healthcare and things like that, with the ties to the insurance companies and whatever. So, basically, they have tried to have it to where from cradle to grave, you are dependent on their system. This is why they don't like freedom. They don't like the Constitution because they want to, they don't want people to have the ability to be free and to live their life the way they see it. And so this is something that's been created, and it was created a long, long time ago, and it's been working in their favor. But those days are coming to an end because people are waking up to the fact that, hey, you know, I mean, look, just, you know, one of the things that did happen is look at what happened in Nepal. You know, if you don't know what happened in Nepal after the shooting or while the shooting was happened, go look it up. The people are rising up against their government. And so, yeah, so that's, I just want to add that point there. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was great. That's exactly what I was going with. And so I feel as if these people are just indoctrinated. Like at first I really had a sense of anger, as if this is how they really feel. Is disgusting, is it's despicable, is demonic almost to celebrate, you know, his death, because that's what the far left was doing on the internet. But then I was thinking, because I saw a video on YouTube, I think it was today, from the great apostate. So I invited him, you know, to the stream just in case if he's watching or whatever. But that's what he says in his video, that it's a cult, and they are indoctrinated to believe that whoever is against them, or whoever doesn't follow their narrative or their way of life or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
is an enemy. Like you're an enemy of mine if you don't agree with everything that I say, and that's it. They have no
100%.
discord, they don't talk about anything. So I kind of had to feel sorry for them. Instead of feeling anger and hatred, I had to feel sorry that the indoctrination of the far left, or the news, or propaganda, you know, whatever it is, they were indoctrinated to believe that the views of somebody like Charlie were evil and a direct target to them. You know, like they took it personal. They took it like as an attack to them. When in reality, he was just a Christian conservative, and a moderate one at that, because there's a lot of Christian conservatives out here that are way more worse than what, you know, Charlie is.
Yeah, the indoctrinate, and you know, I had a moment where I actually had that same feeling on Sunday, to where I was thinking about all these people. I mean, it kind of goes back to to our former religion. You know, in our former religion, we thought we were doing the right thing. We thought that we were righteous and that what we were doing meant something and that we were fighting for something bigger. All right. We thought that. Do you not think that they're not going to use, the deep state is not going to use that tactic in other areas, far left and far right? They're going to use that same tactic. Why are they going to use it? To exert their control. And so when we tell folks, hey, you need to freaking wake up, means we're trying to slap you out of that indoctrination. But that's kind of difficult because you have the cognitive dissonance that kicks in, and then you have your echo chambers that you won't get out of. And so you're not allowing yourself to break free from that indoctrination, whether it's the left, far left, or the far right. So one of the things that Charlie talked about was the radicalization that young people were receiving by going to these universities.
Right.
And I'm going to touch a little bit more on that when I go into my little spill that I got this evening, but on, you know, why that was so important for them, the deep state, to control the universities and what was happening there. So I'll explain a little bit that a little bit later.
Right. Okay.
And if
Good.
y'all see me doing like this, it was a little warm here today, and there's some bugs out tonight. And so if you see me doing that, that's what's going on.
Okay. So really quickly, I wanted to play this video of of how we really should be looking at things. You know, it's to inspire hope despite all these bad things happening this past week. So
Okay.
this video kind of helped me, and I want to share it with everybody else on how we should be feeling. And it is directed towards Christians. So if you're not a Christian, I mean, like, you don't have to be a Christian for this message. Is what I'm saying. This is just for anybody. But I want to play it because it was really helpful for me.
Many Christians are very angry at this time, but we must be careful that we are not manipulated. We must ask ourselves, is my anger leading to hatred? Is my anger leading to a desire for revenge? If it is, then we mustn't compare it with the righteous anger of Jesus, who had no passions, who was sinless when he drove out the money changers. We must interpret everything from a spiritual dimension. We are participating in a spiritual war. This is a spiritual battle, and the devil works to provoke very base emotions. Our anger must be directed at the devil, at our sin. And we must pray that Christ will protect us from the way our politics, our social movements, and yes, even murder is being used to divide and to provoke evil passions within us. Let us pray for peace. Let us pray for one another.
That was a
So
good
the
message.
reason, yeah, it's a really great message. But the reason why it kind of hit me even deeper was because he says we have to look at everything in a spiritual dimension. We are participating in a spiritual war. And whether you believe that or not, time and time and again, these events, these scare events, you call them, or these attacks, to me, it's not just on our level.
No,
I think that there are very scary and dark forces behind bad things happening.
totally agree. I've been telling folks for a long time, that this was never right versus D, R versus left, or right versus left, Republican versus Democrat, um, you know, trans, non-trans. That stuff's all noise.
Mm-hmm.
This is a battle between good and evil. And that's why I say that being neutral is not an option. You got to pick a side. And
Right.
one thing that we're seeing right now, I heard someone say that the internet is evil and this and that. And okay, well, one thing that the internet is doing, it's exposing a lot of evil.
Right.
Because if you think about it, did evil people just show up here in the last 10, 15 years? No. There's been evil people all throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say in the 70s and 80s, they may not have had a platform to where they could
Mm-hmm.
basically be in a position where they would expose themselves. They kept things quiet. They kept their voice to themselves and, whatever. But because of the internet, you can see evil being exposed. And that's where, we look at these people. I'm going to go into this point real quick. People are definitely exposing themselves, and they're forced into the light.
Mm-hmm.
Think about all these people that have come out and celebrated a murder of a human being. And then they want to cry when they find out that their company fired them from their job. Oh, what happened to my free speech? What happened to this? Well, you know what? There's consequences for free speech.
Right.
Do you know that the First Amendment is basically protection for you as an American citizen from the government? You can say crap about the government and they can't do anything to you.
Right.
That's the purpose of free speech. But a company does not have to follow that. a company can set their own guidelines. And if I remember correctly, you know, back during COVID time, the folks that were pro-COVID and all scared of COVID, they said that, oh, well, a company is allowed to do what they want to do. If they don't want to take the vaccine, then they should be fired. They
Yes.
said that.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
But now that it's happening to them, they want to try to play the victim and be like, oh, well, the company can't do this. I'm going to go to sue the company. Da, 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 da. No, a company has guidelines. A company only cares about the company and whether the
Right.
company is going to be successful or not. And if
Exactly.
your views are put out on the internet for millions of people to see, and the company's like, oh, man, that person's going to hurt my bottom line. It's going to hurt our brand. And we need to get rid of that person.
Right.
So there is a difference. Your free speech does not allow you to avoid consequences of your free speech. Yeah, so I wanted to mention that.
Yeah, you're right. I like that, because what they're trying to do is say the same thing about Charlie. Is to say that that this happened to him because of the things he was saying. That these are the consequences of being open with his views. Now the
The
difference
cop out.
is, it,
Freaking cop out.
right? No, it is, but just thinking of the logic of it is that he was literally assassinated at a public event. That's what we're saying, is that's the assault of it. It doesn't matter what he was saying. It was that he was killed for it. That's the point where that's wrong. Murder is wrong no matter what. And, to somebody like me who kind of is like pro-life and like anti a lot of stuff, I would say the same thing about abortion. Murder is wrong in any instance. So if he's there saying whatever he wants to say, the consequence of that is not death. Okay? Under
It,
no circumstances would death would be an okay punishment for somebody. That's the difference.
and the problem is that's being, oh, there's a great video. Since we're talking about Ruby, go to my Facebook page, please.
Facebook. All right, let's see.
And there's a video where I just say, wow. And it should be, I've posted a lot of crap. So
Yes,
it's
wow, right here.
well, not that one. That's just
Okay.
there's another one where it's wow. And it's a short video of a woman asking her daughters, hey, I've got the best news ever.
Oh, I
And
saw that. I saw that.
yeah, I think we need to play that
Oh
because
my God, that's sick. That's sickening.
yeah, so it just keeps scrolling. I've posted a lot of stuff this week, y'all.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, yeah.
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift.
What kind of garbage human being and dumpster fire of a parent do you have to be that you tell your kids you have the best news ever and their first guess is that a Republican died? You want to know why conservatives are blaming the left for political violence? Because you are actively cheering on political violence. This is not just some Yahoo in the dregs of the internet. These are EMTs and nurses and teachers and moms and ordinary people who we pass on the street every day. And you are jeering and laughing and actively teaching your children that when your political opponent dies, it's the best day ever. And look, maybe I'm an eternal optimist. Maybe I just don't have a place in my brain to put this kind of hate. I certainly don't teach it to my children. But I have to believe that there are a lot of people who have found themselves politically homeless over this because you have looked at this and realized just how deep the rot goes. Because if this is truly this large of a faction of our society, I shudder to think of where this is going to take us.
I have the best.
So Hate is being taught and
Right.
passed down.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what the whole deep state plan was to do, was to infiltrate the minds of the people, indoctrinate them, and have them teach that hate. We've seen it over in the Middle East. And I don't care what nation or country it is, where they're teaching kids at 4, 5, 6 years old how to shoot guns and how to hate their enemies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perpetual cycle. We need to get that cycle. We need to stop that cycle.
Right.
And one of the things that parents can do to stop that cycle is, if you are able to, get your kids out of public schools, because the indoctrination starts there. That is sickening that those girls, the first thing, oh, I got the best news ever. What, Donald Trump died? What the what the fuck? And
It's sick.
anybody out there, and I've seen a couple of comments. I'm gonna get riled up here in a little bit. I've seen a couple of comments on some XJW channels that
Mm-hmm.
were like celebrating and looking forward to Donald Trump dying. How sick of a son of a bitch are you to be celebrating or wishing the death upon someone else? Now, there's a lot of people out there that have committed treason. They have harmed children. You know, those folks, because of their actions and what they have done against, crimes against humanity, yeah, they need to meet the Reaper. But just because they come out and they say something and share their opinion about something, not them that committed treason and all that, but someone else, they don't deserve to die.
Right. That's the difference. That's what I'm trying to say. Is because
And I apologize to the viewers for using foul language, but there are times. Look, I'm Italian. It happens. I'm sorry.
Thank you. It's okay, Jimmy. Thank you. Because this is why I try to look at things from both sides, because literally everything you said is what the left will say to conservative parents. Oh, well, you're teaching your kids hate for not accepting or being inclusive or whatever. They can say the exact same things, but there is a difference. What we just saw, that is what's completely different. It is not okay psychologically for a child to be thinking in those terms. Like I say all the time, it's not appropriate for a child to have a world view where that's a joke, where it's funny or it's acceptable in a conversation. It's just not, in my opinion, for the children of our society to be looking at the world like that.
Exactly. I'm gonna give another. I'm gonna play another video for my Facebook page, and it's past. Go past the one we just showed, but it shows different celebrities and different political figures spouting a hateful rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
And some folks may have seen the video already, but I think we need to play it for emphasis, because it shows how they are manipulating the minds of people. So, and it might have Barack Obama's picture on there first.
Was
I
it
don't remember.
before that video we just saw or after?
It will be after. It will be before I posted that one. So it'll be, yeah. Go past that. Yeah. Keep going. It would be. It's a good video to play. Not that one. I don't think that was her. That was a good video. And I think my caption was that, we're not the ones, or who are the ones really spreading hate.
Okay.
I know I posted. Yeah, I posted a lot here.
Yeah, you really did. Okay.
That was a good one.
Keep going.
Yeah, look for, who are the ones really, pushing hate or whatever. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
I want you to stay angry.
That maybe Donald Trump will go away. Maybe he'll go to jail. Maybe he will die.
they're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. And that's a fact.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I will go and take Trump out.
He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
Although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying.
Violence doesn't come from Democrats, just to be clear. It is MAGA. It's specifically MAGA faction. Like,
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right. I want you to stay.
So, do you see the playbook being used there? That is all coordinated.
Yeah, right. But you know what? I don't know how that is okay. But what Charlie has ever said in one of his tables is not okay. Because nowhere, never has Charlie ever said anything near to what these people just said. They were inciting violence, literally. And I thought that was against freedom of speech, actually. Though that's the only instance in where freedom of speech doesn't apply, is when you're inciting violence. And Madonna literally says that she thought about blowing up the White House. What is that?
Exactly. So if you're somebody that is cheering that type of rhetoric, congratulations, you've chose evil.
And I see the comments, and I appreciate everybody that is in the comments. And Fighter of Truth, I do agree with you when she mentioned how Trump was making fun of when Nancy Pelosi's husband was assaulted or whatever. I didn't see it personally, but if he did, even if he did make fun of something as serious as that, I would say the exact same thing. It is not okay to joke about this type of stuff. And for what we just saw in the political violence is not okay either. Like, none of it's okay. That's what we're both saying here, is that we both agree that in no instance is this appropriate to say or to even feel within yourself. But of course, you have the freedom to believe, to feel as you want. But when you say it out loud, like what we just saw, that's my red line. Like, that's when it's too much. That's too much for me. Really quickly, Joy to you and me, welcome to the chat. She says calling over half of America Nazis is inciting violence. It's true.
Because this is what they do. They put that message out there, and then and we can agree, we've talked about this before, that we do have a mental illness problem here in the country. That exists. It does exist. And we have people out here that will hear this rhetoric and think that, and because they're mentally ill, oh, wow, if I go do something close to what these people are saying, then they're going to look at me as a hero. That's what these people think. That's wrong. And the people that are inciting the violence and inciting the hate, then they know that's exactly what they're doing. They're hoping and praying that there's a mentally ill, disturbed person that is listening to them. And then it goes into the whole, drugs that they have to take, and then the whole MK Ultra stuff kicks. That's a whole different story. But they're hoping that someone will do something like that.
Right, exactly. So Fighter says, to show Nick Fuentes, he has always been talking about Charlie Kirk, and a lot of people, their old videos are popping up when they were talking very negatively about Charlie. But you see the difference with Nick Fuentes, and I've been watching it specifically because I don't really follow Nick, but like I understand his ideology, is that his tune has changed. Okay, like how we can change our opinions and say, hey, I was wrong, back then. That's what Nick is doing. He knows he was wrong, and he's actually, when he spoke about Charlie in that very episode, the following day after the assassination, that's when Nick was actually doing the right thing. and
You know,
speaking about Charlie in the way that he should have been talking about Charlie.
yeah, I have not liked Nick Fuentes one bit. Um,
I know.
I don't like the guy,
Yeah,
but I will give him credit. When he came out the day after and said what he said, I was
right.
like, okay, all right, cool, dude. All right, I'll give you props for that. But
Exactly. Because that's what matters is that he changed his tune and he said what actually is the right thing to say. Because despite everything, it doesn't matter. And now those people are going to feel regret that they were talking so bad about these people because you don't feel sorry about it until somebody dies or somebody gets hurt. And then you're like, oh, snap. Dang, I was really harsh. And you see, that's why just me, that's why I don't talk like that to begin with, because you never know what could happen or you never
yeah,
know what we're going through behind closed doors. And yet you're talking so much smack about somebody and you don't even really know them or what they're going through. So that's why I try not to ever speak about somebody in that negativity.
and the other thing that they're using too is they do not like the nuclear family. They want families to break up. They want people shunning each other and things like that. We experienced that in our form of religion. And during the time of COVID, there were families that were being ripped apart because of political ideology. Same thing is happening now. There are families that are breaking up over this situation. And you're falling right into their hands when you do this. If you're not talking to a family member because they're MAGA, or if you're not talking to a family member because they're a far left person, then shame on you. Shame on you.
Right,
Because
right,
you're falling for it. You're
right.
falling for the division.
Right, exactly. That's why, me and my cousin Tony, we take that seriously now, knowing our background, is that it doesn't matter what the politics are or what the religion is, that's never going to get in between us two as family because it really doesn't matter. And when I do bring up something that's religious and I already know that it's going to get spicy or whatever, I always just say in our conversations that I'm not here to prove anything to you or to make an argument that you're wrong and I'm right or vice versa. All I'm doing is I'm curious and I want to talk about something. And you can do that without fighting, without arguing.
Absolutely. The best example I have in my life is me and John's relationship. You
Hmm.
know, because and I just told him this the other day because he was giving me props on some stuff and I gave him some props on some stuff. But I told him, I say, he's like, we've always been able to have conversations even if we disagree about something. And he said he's gotten to a point to where when I say stuff, he's more open to listen to what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. And likewise, I feel the same way about him. But I told him this. I said, my friendship with him meant more to me than any political disagreement that we may have about stuff. So when we had conversations, I made sure that when we have conversations that are a little difficult, that I keep that in mind. The friendship is number one. Everything else is
Right.
secondary. And there's too
Right.
many people out there, there's too many families out there that are forgetting to put that in play. Their political
Right.
ideology is overriding love for family.
Exactly. So I think that's what's happening in society is that they are drawing the line when you don't have to draw a line. Just don't draw it. Like, why even put it there? It doesn't have to be there. But unfortunately, people feel like it's that serious that it has to be drawn, and if they cross it, then sorry, can't talk to you no more. And that's a shame. And but I would never participate in that. You know what I'm saying? Like I vowed it to myself that I would never again look at somebody or think of somebody in a way that I would draw a line and say, "Don't talk to me ever again because you have this stance." I think that's crazy. Um, so just really quickly about the thumbnail, just want to kind of explain it. I found that somewhere on X probably, and above that photo, it mentions Charlie Kirk, and then this is the bottom version, which I put in the thumbnail, which says, "Assassinating someone with differing opinions is peak fascism." Fascism. Um, and I put that there because a lot what I've seen on the internet is how much they call us fascists because of our political beliefs. Well, not ours. I'm just saying like just people in general, the right. They say that about the right, but then what does somebody on the left go and what does this man do, right? Because of his political differences with Charlie. I think it was personal, I think it was political, but because of that, they are doing the very thing that they accuse us of doing or having. So
Mhm.
that's why I put it there is because that's the extremism on either side that we're seeing. So I have somebody backstage. I think you know this person, Dale Knight.
Yeah.
Dale, he found
Hey,
his way
Jimmy, what's
on the
up?
internet. What's up, Dale?
What's up, buddy?
How's it
How
going,
you
man?
guys doing?
We're doing good. Good to see you, bud.
This is a completely new experience for me, so I could barely get on StreamYard. So, anyway, so it's good. I'm listening to you guys. Everything you guys are saying is really thought out, and I appreciate it. So, yep. I
Well,
mean,
what
I
would you
don't.
like to what would you like to say first?
Um,
I know you like to talk.
really, Jimmy? How do you know that? So, anyway, no, I just appreciate your guys' efforts and that you guys are non-confrontational, but you guys also have an opinion on things. And so where do you see all of this going? Because I don't know. Like, I'm 20 or 30 years old than both of you, and I get dumber by the day. So, and you guys are much more in tune with things that I'm not. So, what do you guys see happening? How does this roll out? So, my thing is, why is it that Charlie's death has just inspired people in a way that I'm surprised? Like, I saw Reagan get shot. Ruby, you weren't even alive. Neither were you, Jimmy. Or you were
Yeah, I
still
was
in
alive.
diaper. Yeah, you were pooping your pants. So let's stop.
I was 8.
Okay. All right, you're still pooping your pants. No,
Oh my
but
God.
seriously, how is it that this guy is inspiring
Right.
stuff across the globe? Like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Warriors from New Zealand, the Maoris in London the other day, they did a tribute to Charlie. Like, if you guys haven't seen it, watch it. Like the last true warriors on Earth, and they're holding up a picture of this guy, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is just unbelievable. Like this is just so. Why is it that this guy is just firing people up?
In my opinion,
yes,
from what I have seen and what I've researched, because of the fact of everything else that's been going on since 2020, and more people are awake and they can see through this and they understand what's at play.
Okay. All right.
That's and when I've told folks that, we're in a worldwide operation, I wasn't joking.
No.
And this is proof right here. Because yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, keep going, Jimmy. No.
I was going to say that, this is proof that this is a worldwide operation because, a lot of people, like yourself, are shocked that people in South Korea, people in Australia, people in Germany are actually supporting Charlie Kirk and what he stood for.
Yep. And I'm just amazed at the volume of people. I'm amazed at people, Ruby, your age. Like my son's going to call me tonight. He's 32 or 33. He called me twice last week, and he goes, "I got to talk to you about this guy." And my son's a chip off the old block, and he's really cynical. But something about this guy getting killed, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. Okay, Jimmy and I, we had our time in the religion in the background in past days, but this almost feels like almost a spiritual thing.
Yes.
And I hate saying it.
That's
I
true.
really do.
Don't hate saying it because it's true.
Right.
Really? You think? Okay. There's just something with this guy getting killed that it just, this guy called. So I belong to a business network group, and this guy, he was in my group. Dude's a mechanic. He's got a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he just called me up and then he goes, I'm still crying 5 days later. I'm like, okay, man, like, I understand. There's something going on with this guy dying. And I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But there's something about this guy not being around anymore that is just, and maybe it's as simple as it just has exposed these people on the left for being just truly demonic people.
Right.
Like if you're happy that somebody died, can I cuss on this place or no? Probably
Yeah,
not.
you
Okay.
can.
Okay, fuck you.
It's YouTube.
Okay, you know what? You know what? Fuck you. And in fairness, like Joe Biden got diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I guess Don Jr. said something. You know what, pal? Fuck you too. Can we not have some civility here? Now, I'm not saying one of these things is the same as the other. Don't mistake that. But this guy, he's 31. My youngest kid is 33. He had two beautiful children.
Right, right.
I'm 67. I have cried more in the last 5 days. I can't even.
Me too. Yeah.
I saw something. He was on Fox, which I never watched, but somebody just showed me something, and he got done with an interview, and his kids ran over to him.
Yeah,
like, do you see that, Ruby? I was just like, oh my God, like I can't even.
Yeah.
So I think this guy has brought out some humanity in a lot of us that we didn't expect. Like I don't know. Like I don't know how to quantify this.
Hopefully after tonight's show and after some of this information that I bring out, that hopefully it'll start racking the brain and causing folks to look deeper into things. Okay. And before we get to Leonard, I do want to, when I talk about stuff, I know that when I say certain things, it may sound absolutely effing crazy, and that Jimmy Bell has lost his daggone mind.
Yeah.
Now, I want Dale, who was there with me in March of 2020, to explain his experience real quick about dealing with me and what I've been saying.
Well, so Jimmy's just far ahead of the curve. And I really wasn't on the COVID bandwagon to start, but Jimmy came out with some stuff, and I'm like, this sounds kind of fucked up. I'm being honest. Okay. But he was right. And I don't mind. You know what's nice about being wrong? Because then you found out the truth.
Right.
Like then you go, you know what? Not my best moment.
Right.
But at least I got to the point to like, and so here's the thing, Ruby, about me. Like, I always push back initially because if it's really that way, I want to know, you got to show me some proof that it's that way. And Jimmy did with me. And Jimmy did with me. Like, him and I went back and forth. I was like, hey, you motherfucker, you're full of shit. And then he was right. No, he's right. Yeah. And you know what? I threw myself on the cross. My boy was right. And that's all you can do. Exactly. That's all you can do. Like you can't. And then now, so I always instantly push back on something because I sent something on a post today. And Dan Bongino said at one time, you don't always want to be first. You just always want to be right.
Correct.
So now Jimmy is like right really quick. I'm not as smart as him. I just don't have that in me. But I would much rather do my gig and kind of wait and see what's going on before I formulate an opinion. Now I will say this: that fucking kid had help.
Oh yeah. We're definitely going to get into. You're definitely going to get into that.
Now, I don't know what help he had. Okay, like I don't know. Just like when they tried to kill Trump, I said, and me and my girlfriend was sitting there watching this, and I'm sitting there, and she knows how the way I am. Like I'm Alex Jones from the South. I go, this kid scrambled up a roof. Like the Secret Service goes, oh, the roof is too steep, but this kid just fucking Spider-Man's up a roof. Spider-Man's up a roof. Everybody's going, hey, look at that guy.
Just really quickly, I want to let Leonard have a moment, and then I do want to respond to your comment about why Charlie's death was so significant. But go ahead, Leonard.
Go ahead. No, please go ahead. Okay. I don't want to take this. This is y'all's show. I don't want to take it over. So respond to it. I would like to hear it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I'll let Leonard go first, just really quickly,
ahead,
and then I'll make a comment. Go ahead, Leonard.
Okay, go ahead, Leonard.
Well, before I say anything, I just want to say that today is a special day for me. It's my birthday.
Well,
happy birthday, Leonard.
Thank
happy
you.
29th.
I just want to say this. When I put everything together spiritually and naturally and politically, this country is really in bad shape. It really is.
Oh,
because
you got no argument here. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's mind-boggling for me because it's like every time truth tellers and whistleblowers have a say-so, they just something like this always happens. And I don't like it, but the only thing I can do as a human being is just pray and trust God that things will get better. And I do believe that things will get better.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
And
right.
A Bible scripture comes to my mind that says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but by principality. And this is where we are now. We are in a warfare of a stronghold. And once we as a nation, as a country, wake up, totally up, get some common sense, and come together as one, we can get something done in this country. There will be a turnaround.
Yeah. The problem is when you have the media, Leonard, and I put Fox in on it too. It's not just MSNBC and all these other. They are just constantly. They will either lie to you or they will lie to you by omission. That's what Fox does. Like that's what Fox does. Like they won't tell you like the whole truth. Like they might give you a little bit of this or a little bit of that. So what it does, it just gets us all pissed off. And yeah, and just look what happened after he got shot. Well, his rhetoric. What was his rhetoric? He's like the kindest person in the world.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. It's like they don't even know what they've done. They wrongly perceive him to be far right when in reality he was nowhere close to it. And if you kill the good guy, you're gonna get the bad guy after that.
Well, I sent something over to Jimmy. Jimmy, who's the new guy fixing to come in? It's probably not going to work out well.
Oh, Milo. Yeah, we're not going to get into Milo, but Milo come back out, and oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean,
If they didn't like Charlie Kirk, they're definitely not going to like Milo. So, let Ruby respond to your comment you made a little while ago, Dale. Go ahead, Ruby.
About what?
Yeah. So Dale was saying like you don't know how or why it was so significant or why he was so influential.
Yes, please.
And why it's so hard even for my generation. Like for me, it hit me like that too. And I was crying all over it. And I was like, he's one of us. He could have
So
been any one of us because that's how young he was. Like, I'm only 29. He was only like
okay,
30, 31. You see, it's like, what
yep,
if I went
yep,
to the nearest college and did what he did? Am I gonna get shot
yep,
for
yep.
saying something like
Probably,
abortion is murder?
probably,
Or
probably.
exactly.
Yeah,
So that's why it 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 took everybody by storm. It was because he
yep,
wasn't even
yep.
saying controversial things. It really wasn't. He was just saying the truth, and the
And
truth is what got him shot.
oh, and I agree. But even if it wasn't saying the truth, the way he delivered his message,
Right,
kindness. He never
right.
he never looked at some guy who was gay and go, "Oh, you homo motherfucker," or whatever. He always
Exactly.
treated them.
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell you how bad it is. My youngest son is like 32, 33, has called me twice. He's probably
Yeah,
gonna call me later on tonight. Like, and this kid is like me. I'm more libertarian than conservative, but something with this guy dying
right.
has just inspired or woken people up.
Because Charlie was in the middle where both sides came, or that he came to both sides, basically, right?
Okay. Yep.
Because
Yep.
you have a lot of
Yep.
people on the left that don't even bother talking to people on the right, and then you have a lot
Right.
of people on the right who would just, go on their own podcast or just
Right.
accuse
Right.
people of the left. But
Right.
Charlie wasn't like that. He literally went out to the people and brought them together because
Yep.
he opened up
Yep.
the
Yep.
discourse. So
Yep.
when somebody like that gets killed for it, that's when you know we are in super bad shit. Because
Well,
if you close the dialogue, you that's when violence starts. And that's what
well,
Charlie believed in. He wanted to open up the discourse.
and then that goes to, and Jimmy will agree with me. Then the deep state can't have that. You can't
Right.
you can't have a guy waking people
Mhm.
up. Did you
Right.
guys see Jamie Lee Curtis's post today? Or she did
No.
an interview, and she was actually crying about Charlie getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a trans daughter or son or whatever you want to
Yep.
call it.
Yep.
But she was actually today like really like sad. She was crying that this guy didn't deserve to get killed. I'm like, man, this is a woman
Right.
who in theory should not like anything about Charlie at all, but
Right.
she was upset about him getting killed.
Exact. And I hope she actually really genuinely feels that way.
No, no.
I hope that people actually look inside themselves and
Yeah.
humanize themselves again, and humanize Charlie and humanize everyone, because that's what they did to conservatives in the media. They dehumanized us because of our political
Yeah.
stances, and that's
Yeah.
what makes them justify in their minds that this was a good thing, when in reality it's a very, very bad thing.
Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
want to shift back the show to what Jimmy has for us. So I'm gonna bring you guys backstage,
Go ahead,
and
Jimmy.
I'm gonna let Jimmy give
Go
us
ahead,
some
Jimmy.
info. Okay, guys. So I'll
Yep,
see you
sure.
guys in a little bit.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you,
Yep.
Leonard. Thank you, Dale. Ruby, I think this will be a great time that we haven't done it before. Haven't done it in a while. I don't think we did last week,
Yeah.
but with what I'm getting ready to get into will be
Uh-huh.
the spicy stuff. So,
Uh,
do you have our little intro for that? And while you play that, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
all right, everybody, get ready to hear what Jimmy has to say. He kind of really hyped this up on his Facebook page. He said, "Get ready. He's going to talk about a lot of stuff." I don't know what he's going to talk about, so I'm going to be just as surprised as everybody else, depending on what he says. So get ready, everybody. All right, Jimmy. I am just as just as excited as anybody else who knew that you had something coming tonight. I saw your Facebook posts. You were kind of really hyping it up, like, oh, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about that. And I'm interested to see what you're going to talk about because I think I've read it. I think I know about it, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm very interested into hearing your perspective.
All right, so I told folks that we were going to go down some rabbit holes. And I know that there may have been folks that have tuned into the show to see us, argue about CGI or AI or what happened to the F on the shirt. We're probably going to mention some of that a little bit later. But I wanted to go and be a little more clinical about this.
Okay.
And when I say that there's always something bigger going on behind an event, I'm not joking about that. So I wanted to present some information to you guys that I've found and thought about and see what you guys think. And so I've got like 3 pages of notes here. And the first thing I want to talk about is the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So right now, there's a narrative being put out. There's actually some things that are already starting to be dropped from the narrative. And that came out today. They came out with the report. And one of the things that was not on the report today was the disassembling of the gun. Now, we're going to get into that a little bit later. But the point is the narrative. All right. So this is the question that I want everybody to really think about. Whenever in history has the original story been the real story and the truth?
Never. I mean, we just got in from the files from JFK, and wasn't that like 50 years ago? And now we're finding out the truth, so I could only imagine.
Now, why do you think that I would ask that question? Whenever has the original story been the real story? Because there's a lot of folks out there that are like, oh, well, this was said, or no, he wasn't a sheriff. Oh, there's all this back and forth over every little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always more of that little stuff coming out right now. So what I've mentioned to folks that we need to look at pattern recognition.
Yeah.
So was the original story about JFK? Was it true? RFK, was it true? MLK, 9/11, the Vietnam War,
Mm-hmm.
and Malcolm X. Were the stories that came out, were they true?
I don't think so.
They weren't.
Mm-mm.
So why are folks going to fall into that trap and start listening and arguing over everything the media says?
I think people are not falling, actually. I'm quite
there's
surprised that there's a lot of people are not falling into that trap.
And that's good. I've seen a lot more people come out and saying from the very beginning, yeah, something ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing.
Yes.
While I go into I'm gonna just continue. I'm not gonna pull a video up. I'm gonna stay on track. So so to answer the question 1, it's never happened. So this is why you have to let time go by. You have to use discernment and trust your gut. It's like when I first saw this and I first started hearing the story, I was like, yeah, this isn't right. I even put it on my Facebook page. I said, don't ask me to explain it, but something in my gut is telling me this ain't right.
Right.
All right. So now we need to look at who gets assassinated. Number 1, someone with a large following.
Mm-hmm.
Think about JFK, RFK, MLK, Malcolm X. These guys all had large followings. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, if you're going through a change or some type of evolution, which 3, And if that change is a huge challenge to a very powerful force.
Yep.
Now, let's compare the assassinations. MLK was allowed to do what he was doing in his civil rights work, and he wasn't getting a lot of flack for that. Kind of like Charlie was going out saying what he was saying, and he wasn't getting a lot of flack for it from the powers to be.
Right.
It wasn't until MLK came out against the Vietnam War that caused him to head down a path that the deep state didn't like.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one. Malcolm X from the Nation of Islam. He came out and said some things that a lot of people didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, after studying Malcolm X, while I'm talking, Ruby, about Malcolm X, you saw that thing on my page. You know what? Yeah, go to that real quick. Go to that real quick.
Okay.
The Malcolm X thing. Because I want to back it up with the next thing I say.
Okay. It's a video on your Facebook page?
Yeah, you'll see Malcolm X.
Okay, let's see.
And it'll prove my point that I'm making here. Sorry, it was a busy week on Facebook.
Okay.
There it is.
Many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. Many whites who are trying to solve.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to play that is because that is an example of the things that Malcolm X was saying. All right, and he was allowed to say all that stuff, and they didn't have a problem with him then. It wasn't until after he went to Mecca and visited Mecca, and he came back to America, and his rhetoric, conversation, whatever you want to call it, changed, because that's when he said that maybe it's not the white people who are the devil, that it very well may be the system that is the devil. And because he switched his view on that, he had to go. So, and even John Lennon in the late 70s, after he got off of heroin, and became sober and clean, he started thinking more clearly about things. And, when he started to speak out against the new wars that were going to be created in Grenada, Nicaragua, down there in the South America area, he started speaking out against those things. And that's when he ended up being unalived. So when you go against the system, and I'm going to say why that's important when it comes to Charlie. Here in a second. So I wanted to put those two out there, the question and the example of assassinations. Now what I want to do is I want to look at Turning Point. Now, Turning Point was founded in 2012, and not only by Charlie Kirk, by a guy named Bill Montgomery. Bill Montgomery saw him, thought he would be a great speaker, thought he would basically be a good front guy, whatever. And so they got together. This guy was very wealthy. And on the day after Charlie graduated is when they started Turning Point. The day after he graduated high school is when they started Turning Point.
He's a millionaire, you said?
His name is Bill Montgomery. He's a philanthropist. I went to try to do a little bit more research on him, but it got late last night, and I couldn't finish my research on him. But he was very well connected, very rich, And that's when they decided to start Turning Point. Charlie was 18 years old when this happened. The annual budget for Turning Point is $80 million a year, and they have over 600 employees. They are a 501c3. And what have we learned about 501c3s? That they are tax exempt. And plus, when donors give money to a 501c3, they can remain anonymous. That's very important. I'm going to get to that. Now, ProPublica looked into Turning Point and found that a quarter of their annual budget was going to pay salaries. 60% of their budget was going towards travel expenses, putting these shows on, and merchandise. Now, one thing that you can do with merchandise is you can make a hat for $5 and sell it for 45.
Right.
So Turning Point in itself was a huge enterprise. Now, we always tell folks, follow the money. Okay, so that's where I'm trying to go with this. So you just seen where there's a lady, Lynn Frost. She just donated $1 million to Turning Point USA within the last couple of days. She is the widow of a guy named Bob Frost. And Bob Frost is very, let's just say right wing, very, very right wing. All right. And he also donated to Turning Point. So you got all these rich people that have power donating to Turning Point. Just put that in the back of your head, please. So prior to 2020, a lot of conservatives did not like Charlie Kirk. I didn't watch Charlie Kirk in the beginning. For me, I said he was controlled opposition. I thought he may have been controlled opposition because of the stuff that he was saying that the donors were liking. And there's another thing about these donors is a lot of them were Jewish. They weren't Christian.
Right.
Okay. So, one of the reasons why the conservatives weren't liking Charlie Kirk is because he was divisive, and Turning Point was accused of falsifying numbers and that there was some fraud and corruption going on. Okay. So that's why a lot of people didn't like him in the beginning. They weren't accepting what was being said. Up until about 6 months ago, Charlie Kirk started to ask some really tough questions about a certain country named Israel.
Yeah.
Now, if we look at our U.S. Congress, we've talked about this before, where a lot of our congressmen and senators have dual citizenship to Israel.
Yeah.
That is wrong. That should not be the case. Why do they have dual citizenship to Israel? Here's the thing about that base, what Israel, their base is here in America. One, their base is Jewish Zionist. Well, they have them in their pocket. They can count on them to support Israel. All right. The second base would be the Christian Zionist. That base right there, they cannot afford to lose. So when Charlie came out 6 months ago and said, hey, I have some questions about the money and this and that and Israel and all that, they couldn't have that.
Right.
Why? Because he was influencing a generation of young people, which we know that the deep state wants to indoctrinate that generation for their future warriors. So they could not have Charlie Kirk turning and changing the questions about Israel and all these people learning about it.
Right.
So, did Israel have a part in this?
Maybe.
We don't know yet. And I do believe that we will find out. I did put a thing on my Facebook page to where I said that after all this is said and done, I do believe that we're going to see foreign operatives being involved in this. But at the very least, we need to look at them being a suspect. And here's the reason why. Because there was an event that Turning Point held back in May or June. I think it was June, at the Hamptons. And Candace Owens talked about this in one of her podcasts the last couple of days, where they had a lot of the donors come to this retreat, this event. It was like a whole weekend thing. And Charlie was starting to get pressured. They were actually saying that they were going to withhold their donations and not give him any more money because they did not like the direction he was going in. He had a guy come up on stage by the name of Dave Smith. And Dave Smith made a comment. Mind you, you're talking to a crowd that has a bunch of Christian Zionists in it. And he said, you know, you guys are against abortion, but you're okay with children being slaughtered by Hamas and in Palestine. He got booed for that. And Charlie said, hey, wait a second. Let him speak. Let him share why he feels this way. Oh, they did not like that at all. So he was being pressured. There was also the threat of losing money, that they were going to withhold stuff. And I can't verify this yet. I'm working on it. But it has been said that Bibi Netanyahu offered Charlie Kirk $150 million to buy out Turning Point. What's odd about that is around that same time, once he started talking the way he was about Israel, that's when he got invited to come to Israel by Bibi Netanyahu. And Charlie was like, no, I don't think so. I'm good.
Yeah, he declined both. And I think that's Candace said that. So if anybody's interested, Candace Owens did a video recently.
Yeah.
Watch that because she is not letting it go. And I'm glad that he's on it.
I've never been a huge fan of Candace Owens, but I look at this situation and I'm like, she was a personal friend with Charlie.
Right.
She's got a personal beef to get to the bottom of this. So I don't think she's going to try to, hoodwink us into things. I think she wants the truth about this.
Right.
So we got to look at this. Charlie was pressured. He even said that he got death threats. They started calling him anti-Semitic, which they had never done that.
No, he was very pro-Israel.
At all. But because of his message, because of the threat to the larger force, that is probably why he was taken out.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is just a scenario, something to think about, folks. I'm not saying this is exactly what happened.
Right.
But it's something to think about because it falls in the pattern of past assassinations. He changed his viewpoint on stuff. And it's just kind of odd that Bibi Netanyahu was the only world leader that came out and was saying, oh, we're sorry about Charlie Kirk. And, he read some type of statement. He's the only one that I know that came out. Oh, he was a good friend of Israel and blah, blah, blah. That's what he was doing. Why? Why did he do that? Israel had no. Someone asked him. He said, it's ridiculous, insane to think that Israel would have something to do with this. But if you look at the history of Israel, and you can go to Wikipedia, I sent this to Ruby sometime last week. There's a whole list of assassinations that Israel was involved in going back to the 50s.
Oh, no. Yeah, you need to send me that again. I need to find it because you sent me a bunch of stuff, so I don't know where it is, but you need to send me that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop right there for a second so we can gauge what the chat's saying. But all I was trying to do is because when everything happened, nothing made sense. I wanted to dig until I found some things that actually make sense. This right here makes sense to me.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
this is why I do believe they want everybody arguing over every little thing, because they don't want people to look in this direction.
Right, because people are going to be in fear of getting canceled and getting called anti-Semitic and everything in the book, but we don't care about that. So, and Candace doesn't either. That's why I love her, is because she doesn't care about that either, and she would put her reputation on the line, like everything. She would put it all out there to get to the truth, and that's all I want to. I just want the truth.
Let's see what the chat says about this part first, because then I'm going to jump into the rabbit hole real quick.
Okay, and I do have a tweet that I want to read that I told you was kind of long, but it kind of goes along with everything that you said, just from somebody else's perspective. So Jerica's in the comments. She says, yes, we need to be aware some of Israel's policies, not the Israelis themselves. Empath Lady says, Charlie also followed the Epstein-Maxwell old man connection to Israel. Oh, that was another thing.
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah.
But I've also heard the flip side where he was kind of defending the cover up of it as well. So I'm not too sure what his stances were about Epstein.
Well,
And
he
now,
made the thing that I saw. He made the comment about, Jeffrey Epstein possibly being a Mossad agent. That's what I saw.
okay. Let me see. JG says you can't speak out against Israel. Well, not if you're getting paid by them, in my opinion, right? Because allegedly his donors were huge Jewish donors and they were loving him up until the point where he was questioning Israel.
Correct.
That's just a observation, okay? And that's what raises the red flags. And that's really why I didn't really follow Charlie, was because he was like pro-Israel. Not follow him because of that as well. So that was everybody knew that about Charlie. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody knew he was pro-Israel. So that's why it almost is shocking to even consider that might be a possibility, that theory is coming up because he was so pro-Israel. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. But then you have to listen to what he's saying in the very last few interviews, like you said, the last 6 months, even days before this happened. He was on Megyn Kelly, and that's going viral. And then the interview that he did with Ben, that's going viral too. When he says that to Ben, he actually asked him straight out a question about that.
And if you think about it, he could be politically looked at as an outsider, even though he grew up, from the time he got out of high school, he's never held a public office. You could basically call him like a civil rights leader. Okay. That's what you could really call him, as a civil rights leader. But he had the potential to kind of be an outsider in a sense and maybe one day be president. And
I've seen that floating around.
And the powers to be could not have that as a possibility.
And you see, that's a bigger motive in my opinion, as well. Like, who cares about what he was saying? His future is that makes sense to me too. Like, I could believe that.
Yeah.
Okay, so really quickly, this tweet is super long, but I'm gonna try to read it kind of fast. But it's literally what Jimmy just said, just more, how somebody else worded it that I thought was really interesting. So on X, the profile is called Mindy MF Robinson. So I'll share the tweet really quickly so that people can see that this is the source. This is where I'm reading it from. But I'm gonna close out the window and just read it, quickly. So she says, my intuition is never wrong, although I have gone wrong trying to ignore it before. When I first heard Charlie Kirk was assassinated, my very first thought was that it was our government / Israel. Same things these days if you couldn't tell one way or another. But then I remembered that he was also very pro Israel. So that didn't really make sense to me. Then videos popped up showing that he had recently started asking questions and being critical of Israel's parasitical relationship with America. Then it was revealed that he had turned down both a trip and a large donation from Israel, which he worried might get him in trouble. Then I realized that Israel was the first to report his death,
Yep.
followed by a perfectly timed condolence with our own president, which is a bit odd. Then the guy that caused the distraction that was that allowed the actual shooter, and certainly not this convenient patsy they've propped up to escape, was also previously on video testifying that BS excuse of 9/11 being completely orchestrated by cave dwellers on the other side of the world using indestructible passports, and certainly not by our own government and the dancing Israeli spies seen celebrating the attacks. The entire "we didn't do this" press campaign Israel rolled out preemptively certainly wasn't a weird or guilty look at all either. And while we're at it, let's have our obviously compromised government start pushing to pull Americans' passports for daring to criticize a secular country that has no problem using our tax money to bomb all kinds of other countries, shoot kids, and blow up babies. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of what's left of Palestine, but clearly Hamas was hiding under every rock in a 5-mile radius. It's almost like turning the Holy Land into ground zero was their plan all along. And don't even give me any of that shit about October 7th and how the Muslim B team made it through the most secure border in the world, while Israel sat on their MF hands for hours before helping, and then shot and killed their own people so they wouldn't be taken as the same hostages they're still complaining about today. And just in case the average Joe American wasn't quite sure that their government was under the complete control of a pedophilic, satanic foreign entity that uses bribery, blackmail, and child RAPE to control every position of power in this country they can. Let's have them all go to Israel so they can lick that stupid effing wall, declare the 50 states of Israel or whatever dystopian pipe dream that was, and pledge allegiance to those godless Bolsheviks destroying everything. Or, probably get assassinated themselves since that seems to be the message. I don't expect we will ever get to the truth out of these psychopaths or our government, which they clearly control. Not that I think it matters anyways. Then I'm gonna kind of skip down to where she says, what started in 1913 is finally coming to close. This fake money system where they charge us interest to print our own money, uh, with taxes to money launder through fake charities. Um, Skipping a little bit more because she uses a lot of curse words, but she says, we are all still peasants and slaves to godless tyrants. Only the mode of suppression has changed. I don't know what the timeline is, but this evil cabal will fall in my lifetime. I'm already picturing a world where we all have to work so much less and get so much more out of it because we're no longer being forced to pay for our own destruction under the penalty of imprisonment.
Mm-hmm.
That tweet was crazy when I read it. That's why I was like, I have to read this live.
Yeah, and and she's absolutely on target right there. And I guess this is the part where a lot of people don't want to hear, but they really need to look, especially if you're a hardcore Christian. I have no problem at all with you being a hardcore Christian. None at all. But what I do have a problem with is you looking at Israel like the biblical Israel.
Right.
We have,
That's their downfall.
we have tried to put information out showing, in fact, that the Israeli government is not the biblical Israel. But
Right.
somewhere in the Christians' heads, even Ted Cruz was on there with Tucker Carlson and said something that we have to support Israel. We have to do all this. We have to And Tucker was like, where does it say that? So in their minds, they think they're doing good by supporting Israel because it's been put into their heads that the Israeli government, oh, well, we're the true religion. We're the Jews and blah, 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 blah. No, they are fake as hell.
Right.
They are Khazarians.
And we've spoke about this in season 1. So I'm glad that we've done the show the way we've done it, because I feel like it's all the puzzle pieces are coming together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
It is. So really quickly, I want to play this clip about what has been what happened behind the scenes when all of this was happening with Charlie.
Okay.
The U.S. House just passed a bill punishing politically motivated boycotts of Israel. In a first step towards a federal law punishing criticism of Israel, the House of Representatives on Wednesday passed a massive defense budget that would bar companies engaged in politically motivated boycotts of the country from Pentagon contracts. That bill would effectively ban contractors boycotting Israel from tapping most federal contract dollars, since more than half of the $755 billion the U.S. government spent on contracts last year flowed through the Defense Department. So they just passed a law banning the boycott, divestment, and sanction movement from receiving federal funds, because we are, in fact, a satellite of Israel and obviously a puppet state of them. And we'll get back to that on the other side. And we'll talk quite a bit about it, I think, because I think Israel should really be questioning itself and its future existence, honestly. I mean, they are losing support so incredibly rapidly. And I don't think, having half of the American Congress blackmailed for, pedophilia is going to save them. I don't think that's a shield big enough to defend against the assault that they're about to be under. And that's a fair warning to them.
Now, do a quick search, Ruby. 250 legislators visit Israel. It just happened here. It just happened. You can just probably just Google it.
Okay, so 250?
250.
And then what was it? 250 what?
250 legislators visit Israel.
Okay.
Let's see what comes up.
Let's see. 4 hours ago, the title of this says United States of Israel bipartisan U.S. delegation draws backlash for largest ever foreign trip.
There you go. Yeah, pull that up.
Okay, so I'll share this. This was the first thing that popped up. 50. Wow, look at the background. 50 states, one Israel. Wow.
And then look at this. Look at the symbolism. Look at the symbolism.
Yeah, the 3 red lines.
Do you see it? Do you see the pyramid in there too? Well, that's the flag of Israel. I'm sorry, but
right.
Okay,
right.
Never mind. I stand corrected. But 50 states, one Israel.
Wow, that's crazy.
And when did that happen?
Let's see. Does it say a date?
It just happened this week, I think.
On Monday. On Monday.
All right. So the question would be, why would Israel be hosting something like this with our legislators right after this event.
So
To,
maybe
to
is this the event that he was inviting Charlie to come to? Maybe this was it, and this was
no,
the
no,
trip
I
that he
think
was
he was
flying.
no. They were inviting Charlie for a personal visit. I do
Oh, okay,
believe.
so that's different. Okay.
Yeah, because these were legislators.
Wow. We need to know the names of every single one that was there.
Correct.
Because I think I do that. Like when there's a vote or whatever, and they say, oh, X amount of numbers Republicans voted against this, and it's something that is anti-American. I write down, I take note of who voted, who didn't vote. So we
Yeah.
need to know who they were.
And why? What would be the purpose? I mean, if you're an American elected selected representative or cheated or whatever, whatever. But if you're an American congressman or American senator, why are you going over there? Why?
Exactly. Like when the election, like when the panel was happening for the mayorship of New York, and they were saying,
Yeah.
what's going to be your first foreign trip? And all of them were saying Israel. It's like, why is that even a question, right? Why is it even a question for anybody in political seats in America to go anywhere else other than the district or the state that they represent? That's what gets me.
And if we want to go historical on this, we can go back to the JFK files that were released. And what did we find out who was involved with the assassination of JFK? Mossad, Israel.
Okay.
That we found that out.
And was it a surprise to you or to your generation? Like do you know of anybody that it was a surprise? Because I would say like my generation on the internet was not surprised. Like it's kind of like we kind of knew about this. What about your generation?
I would say if someone hadn't woke, because of course I learned about this after I had woke up. But if I was still asleep and the file came out, I'd be like, "Holy crap! Israel did what? They were involved." Because
Okay, that's fair.
so maybe that's the case. I mean, for those that are Gen X, maybe you can put that in the comments. Did it surprise you that Israel was involved in the JFK assassination?
Right.
And if you did, going back historically, if you look at 9/11, what have we been learning about 9/11? Who bought the building? Who benefited from insurance money? What group of folks were told to stay home that day? Go look. Go look at this
Exactly.
stuff. And then make the connections. So
Yep.
there's
I
that part.
mean, welcome Jeffrey to the chat is like a new name that I see in the chat. So welcome.
Is it Clombies?
Yes.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, he's on my Facebook
Oh,
page.
you know him? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Cool.
yeah.
So what's the chat saying?
They are agreeing 100% with literally everything that you've brought out, everything about that tweet that I read. Everybody is on the same page with us. And remember, Jimmy, like before we went on stream, I was telling you, like, I think everybody is awake to this. Like, I'm so glad that at least our audience is with us. They've been with us step
Let
by
me
step.
go down the rabbit hole and maybe I'll lose a couple people here.
Before you do that, there's two things that I want to like kind of wrap this point up with.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, because
yeah, go ahead.
well, and also about Charlie is that it is also my position that we cannot coexist with that type of evil.
No.
We cannot have unity with that type of evil. And I was so surprised that JD Vance actually said this. And I want to play that clip. Have you seen it? It was powerful.
I've maybe seen parts of it, but yeah, I knew what he was doing. I just didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay. So JD says it in the best way possible. So I want to just kind of play it because I agree with him 100% on this issue. So I'm just gonna play it.
There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I am desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
I like where he said, dismantle the institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's behind all this. These organizations, these individuals, a lot of these protesters, right? They are being paid to do this. And we've talked about that before when we've talked about what type of hat are you wearing. These people we're dealing with are the red hats. They do the bidding of the black hats. And what motivates them to do the bidding? Money.
Exactly. And I'm so glad that he name dropped George Soros and he educated us in less than a minute to pique that curiosity to do your research about who funds these things, where they're getting their money from. And then he said that they get tax benefits. Like, what? What? So if you weren't even political, that should still be concerning. It's concerning. And did you see that video of that redhead girl on X that she was making like a petition to Trump that he should bring back that law that Obama took away in 2013?
Oh yeah, the Smith-Mundt Act,
and to rename it the Charlie Kirk Act so that it prevents news stations to
air propaganda.
Relay exactly, because they relay it as truth and it's not.
Right.
And that's exactly, I think that's why we are here today.
Well, if you think about that, by them reversing and getting rid of the Smith-Mundt Act, it gave their bullhorn, the mainstream media, to basically say whatever they wanted to say in line with what the black hats were telling them to do. And that brainwashes the people.
Right. And I'm glad that he also said this as being the second biggest office, in our government or in the world. Because once again, Representative Omar, I don't know if you've seen, I know, but I just have to bring this out because she is an elected official. And it is very concerning what she said in regards to what happened to Charlie. And it was basically justifying what happened to him. And as an elected official, I think she should be removed from her office. I mean, that's the least of the reasons why I think. But I mean, what she said. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think there was a vote, or I think it was being brought to the floor or something today where she would be censured from being on committees.
Exactly. So I'm going to play that clip because this is also very important. And this is exactly what congressmen and women should be doing.
Provides a member, delegate, resident commissioner, officer, or employee of the House shall behave at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibility on the House. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar's actions in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk are reprehensible and affect the dignity and integrity of the proceedings of the House and do not reflect the credibility on the House. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee on Education and Workforce and removed from the Committee on the Budget of the House.
Resolution offered.
So can you explain what that means if anybody doesn't know? Like what is she proposing?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you my instinct response without my official narrative. This is what it is. I believe it's to remove her from any positions of power within Congress where she can make decisions that go against the country. That's what I think. That's what I believe it is. She's basically being put in timeout and will have no power.
Yeah, I mean, she shouldn't even be in office
No,
for
yeah,
other reasons that.
she shouldn't be in office. Yeah, she
Yeah.
shouldn't be in office.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, I just wanted to bring those two things out. I think it
Actually,
is amazing.
do a quick Google search, Ruby. Say what is censored? What is censured
Okay.
mean in Congress?
What does censored mean in Congress? Okay. Let's see. Oh man, it doesn't give me like an AI version. Come on. Like it gives me a bunch of articles. I just want a sentence or two. Okay, so being censured in Congress means a formal public reprimand against a member for misconduct, serving as an official expression of disapproval without removing them from office or stripping their voting rights. Okay, if it were me, I would want them removed from office and to strip their voting rights.
I would too. Me personally, yeah, I would too.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm sure they have to do it, according to the Constitution, which I don't know exactly what's in there according to this, in relation to this.
Right. And this is not the worst that she's done. There are other things
Oh
that
my
are
God.
way more worse that would have, been like a better reason to revoke, their seat or whatever. Like remove them already. But anyways, I'm glad at least this was said and done, and hopefully we'll start seeing some accountability of some sort. Because in my opinion, we never do, and that's why that anger, like I just get angry about that. But it is what it is. So, anyways, I just wanted to bring that up.
I do believe that we are going to see, because the people are going to get to a point to where they're going to demand justice and accountability. Now, there's a lot of us that have already been doing that, and there's been a lot of us that are just kind of frustrated because it's taken so long for other people to wake up to be able to help us demand justice and accountability. But I do believe we're going to be heading in that direction. And this whole thing with Israel, this is very interesting to me, being that, yes, I follow Q, because one of the Q posts said this: we are saving Israel for last for a very specific reason.
And Jeffrey said that in the chat too. So if he's here, thumbs up, because Jeffrey brought it up. And I was literally just about to bring it up because you have said that in season 1 episodes. And I was already kind of awake to the Jewish element. I've like, this is not the first time we talk about it.
Right.
But the feeling that I got, like how Dale was explaining about the significance of Charlie and the influence that the world, you could see it, you could feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just different. That's how I feel that what you said, and or Q, whoever said it, I could actually see it happening. Everybody on the internet is connecting these dots on their own
Yep.
And they're not falling for the anti-Semitic card. They're
Nope.
not falling for cancellations. They're not falling that like the fear is gone. There is no more fear. And I think that Charlie's like I just think that that event stripped that off. Like it took away any politeness that you ever had. Like it's like you don't care anymore. You're gonna be more bold with your beliefs.
Hmm.
You're gonna be more. It's like it's like you're going 10 times harder on it, and you don't even know why. But it's like you have to. You have to. You can no longer stay quiet or neutral.
There was another Q post that said, "Shot heard round the world,"
Yeah.
and we had always been waiting. There was a lot of us that thought that maybe the assassination attempt on Trump at Butler was the shot heard around the world. But let's back it up and let's look at the reaction of the world. All right.
Right.
Butler, Pennsylvania, did it get the worldwide attention, or did the incident with Charlie Kirk get the worldwide attention?
So I would say the Butler incident, it got people to look, but
Correct.
not to stay there for a while. But
Right.
this one got people to actually stay here
Yeah.
and not turn your eye away. Like this is not something like you said that don't worry about it, keep moving, move along, move along. No, nobody's moving along from this one.
No, and I've had some folks, respectfully, I respect their opinion on it, but there's some folks out there saying, "Oh, this is just end of story." No, this is not the end of this story. I highly recommend you to stay on this, learn, follow
Right.
people who are doing this because you're going to learn a lot of stuff. And I told Carissa tonight, I said, this right here has got my attention because I want to learn everything I can about this so that when my grandkids are in their 20s and their 30s and they're asking me, hey, what happened with the Charlie Kirk? Blah, 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 I can actually tell them the truth.
Right.
And
Right.
and they won't be 50 or 60 years old
Not
just
knowing.
finding out about the Charlie Kirk
Right.
files.
Right. I'm so glad you said that because I had that moment with my grandma when she was alive. I used to ask her questions like, "Wow, I mean, you were alive when the JFK stuff happened, and Martha, all of them. You were alive for literally all of those assassinations. How did you feel about it?"
Mhm.
And she just said, "Well, it was sad, but that was it, you know." And
Yeah,
now looking
they
back, it was
didn't
like
learn. They didn't learn
exactly.
anything.
Exactly. They just believed what the TV said. And it's
Exactly.
sad because I was like, but grandma, did that not like ignite something in you? Like if it was me, I would have gone, like crazy. And she was just like, well, we loved him. I mean, that was undeniable, but it just happened. That it is what it is type of thing. And
And the
it's
people
no longer like that.
and the people that were questioning the JFK thing, what did the CIA coin to call them?
Exactly. They called them conspiracy
Conspiracy theorists.
theorists. I know. It's crazy. Everything is connecting. That's what I'm saying, Jimmy.
Yes.
And nobody is moving past it. This generation will never forget. And you see, that's the same slogan that they use for 9/11. We would
Yeah.
never forget. And I
Yeah.
think that's like, it's just like the irony of it because we literally won't forget. Never. We will never forget it, but for the
No.
right reasons this time because it's
Correct.
not just about the tragedy, it is everything behind it and what came after it because we literally went through a 20-year plus war with a country over it.
Yeah.
That's what
And
gets me upset.
we got to look at how we've said this is an information war. So where are you getting more valuable information on this incident? Are you getting it from the mainstream media? No, because they're gaslighting the crap out of us. It is the alternative media, different personalities folks that have been digging on this stuff for years, that's where you're going to find truth. Now,
Yeah.
you have to be careful and, examine people and see if they're on the right side of history.
Right.
But when we say we are the news now, we're not joking, because what you're getting from the mainstream media is propaganda, not news.
Right. It's scripted. It's scripted talking points that they want people at home to listen to and to just
Yep.
believe it. Whereas we're just talking, and that's they want to end that. They want to end people talking. They don't want us talking.
Oh yeah, they don't want us talking about. That's why we were getting censored during the CV time.
Exactly. So really quickly, I agree 1,000% what Lisa says here. She says, if you really believe George Soros is funding all of this with his own money, you're not paying attention. We are funding it through our taxes. People like Soros do not give up their ill-gotten fortune. And you know what? I
right.
agree with that 1,000%, because the very people who are in positions to take taxes are the same people who are going to use that same money to launder it, to make it disappear, and to fund their own little propaganda stuff, or their own campaigns or whatever. I
So
believe
when it came to COVID and the vaccines and all that and all the riots and everything, the American taxpayer paid for all of it.
it's disgusting.
Think about that, folks.
Yep.
Think about that.
I swear, Jimmy, and we said this before. It's like, why are we still paying taxes? Like, honestly, why don't we all just stop paying taxes? I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Yeah, there's some rabbit holes I could go down on that one about what I think is going to happen with that, but we'll have to save that for another show.
Yeah, definitely.
But what
Okay,
time
so
is
you
it?
could go. Yeah, it's
11.
11. Yeah, so go ahead. You can go down your little.
All right,
your-
folks. So here's the rabbit hole that I want to go down this evening. And I'm going to say that I could see it being a possibility. I can't prove it right now. I have no evidence for it, but I'm speculating that it could be a possibility. So I saw, see how many people we lose on this one.
Okay,
I don't expect anybody to be on board with this, but hey, this is just me. Y'all know the research and things that I say and I talk about. So I saw a couple of memes that showed pictures of Charlie Kirk, and on the pictures it said 1.0 and 2.0.
Okay.
Now, just like I had said before that there were 4 actors playing Joe Biden, and that the Biden you saw for 4 years was not the real Joe Biden, which Trump kind of alluded to that at one of his pressers or whatever. But anyway, so here's what I'm thinking. When I saw that meme, I'm like, why are they saying this? And then you had people that said the character of Charlie Kirk died, but the actor didn't. All right. So if Charlie Kirk was in so much danger, which he said it, we know he was, he said it. JD Vance is his friend. Donald Trump Jr. is his friend. Which, is it possible that Charlie Kirk went to the White Hats and said, hey, y'all need to protect me? So was Charlie Kirk 1.0 taken into witness protection along with his family? Somebody stepped in to be Charlie Kirk, and the operation that we saw would have been a white hat operation to let the deep state think they got away with what they got away with. Now, the only reason I say that this might be an idea, or just how my brain works sometimes, we look at all the symbolism. If you look at the hats that were on the table, 47, 40, there was 3. That equals up to 33. There was a lot of other symbolism in there as well. Erica Kirk going to the coffin. And I'm sorry, me personally, those didn't look like real hands to me. Now, I know there's people that are going to say, Jimmy, that's how dead people's hands are. That's what happens when you embalm them and collect them. Okay, okay, I get that. But they look fake as hell to me. Then the ring she had on had a big G on it. And that G, they're Kirks. He's Charlie. There's no G there. So that G looks like a Freemasonry G. So I'm just saying, did the White Hats set up this operation to expose Freemasonry, the deep state, and now the media can't get their crap together and everything is changing because they don't know what the hell went down? Because of this maybe being a counterattack. I told Ruby before we got on the show that, throughout the years, a lot of people said, oh, Jimmy's just a crazy conspiracy theorist, this. So they go ahead and label me, but they never ask me, why do you believe that?
Right. So then that's when I said this would be the perfect opportunity for all of us to listen to the reason why Jimmy would believe something like this.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to keep an open mind. You got to keep everything on the table because we are in uncharted territories in this world right now. Anything is freaking possible. So I'm not saying that he is alive and well. I'm not saying that he's not. It could be a possibility because if you look at what squibs are, and this is where we get into some of the things that happened. If you look at what a squib is, that is used in Hollywood to, show blood and gore. I put up a video on that. As far as the AI stuff and the CGI, like the F on his shirt, Freedom, when that was showing, the F completely disappeared. And I know me and Ruby talked about that. She said, Jimmy, well, maybe the shirt got wrinkled over it. I'm like, Ruby, no, it didn't get wrinkled over.
And the wind of it, I said it could have easily covered the F. And since we're looking at it through a phone perspective and it's not that good clarity, and I did see somebody on X explaining that it could have been downloaded, uploaded, downloaded again, and the pixels, it was like already altered or ruined or what. I don't know. I'm just saying I've heard it.
I'm just, I pulled the original video with my eyes. That's what I saw. I saw an F disappear.
I saw it too. And I said, well, I can't explain it, but
and then we had the whole, ring went from his ring finger down to his pinky finger. And people are saying, oh, it was a hinged ring. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's fine. But it's still quite. Then there was one to where he's supposed to have the microphone here that they use to get audio for the podcast. But then it traveled over and ended up on his neck. So that's why I believe that there was CGI and AI used in what we saw. And why is it that we only have a handful of videos?
Right. There was like 100 phones there. So and there was a camera behind him too. Did you notice that? There was a guy taking off the camera from behind him.
Exactly. Yeah, they took the camera. So before we go into the other stuff I wanted to go into, because then we're going to talk a little bit of stuff about the case. What's the chat saying about that theory?
Yeah. So
I'm ready for the criticism.
And you know what? Yeah. Before we get into anybody else's like thoughts about that, I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't believe that. But I do understand how somebody can come up with that because of what they saw. You see, I saw the exact same thing, but in my brain, I said to myself, well, it was probably the white shirt. It was the whiteness of the shirt that erased the F for a split second because he literally got shot from such a distance that his whole it was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you really slow it down. But I understand how somebody can get that same idea, like what you just said. I
Here's
understand it.
here's another thing that boggles my mind too.
Hmm.
We have to censor ourselves on here sometimes, and we can't say certain words, or
Right.
we'll get banned.
Right.
You can't play certain songs on the radio because of bad words.
Right.
The news, whenever they're showing a car chase, they will tell you, "Oh, we're on a 10-second delay because we don't want to. If anything bad happens, we don't want the public to see it."
Right. Shock
All
value
right.
because there could be young audiences.
But why is it so easy for everybody to see this?
I know. That's what gets me. It bothers me. It really does. It really bothers me.
So,
So
so who wants to have everybody see
exactly.
this?
Exactly. And I think it's malicious, it's evil, it's demonic because they want
Well,
to they want us to see that image. Even the imagery is horrible because there
that's
was literal children there. And
yeah,
even at home, if they're watching it on Instagram of all
yeah,
places, like that's crazy.
yeah. So why is that being allowed? Now,
Yeah.
if you want to go down the conspiratorial route, um, I've said, sometimes you can't tell the people, you got to show them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if this was a white hat operation and they said, "Hey, we got to show everybody,"
Oh, so yeah, so really quickly, that's what Lisa says. She says, staged or real is serving a purpose to awaken more people, and sometimes it just might be better to take it at face value. I've seen that. People
yeah,
say that, and that's kind of also what I said. It was like, real or not, it's still the message was sent, good or bad. They
yeah,
wanted to send a message of fear that was sent, and then at the same time, the message of shut up or you're going to get killed because they're targeting freedom of speech. So either way you look at it, there's many lessons to be learned and we all got it.
yeah, yeah.
um so Mama Bear in the chat says that the G ring was actually the initial of his daughter. His
I've heard,
daughter's name is Gigi.
yeah,
So
I've heard people say that. So that's fair.
okay, so yeah, so thank you for that comment. Let's see. David is in the chat. Welcome. He says, "I'm so glad you guys are talking about this. I also wish YouTube had the option to filter out news channels from a
Mm.
search feed. Oh, you
Oh,
could
that'd
just
be
block them. Just block them. Go to the channel and then, block them like you block ads." Okay, so that's what everybody is kind of saying. Oh, Sherry D, welcome. She's in the comments. She says she's just checking in for a minute. Okay. So, anything else you wanted to touch on, Jimmy?
Yeah, let's talk about the case itself and some of the things that we've seen and the reason why some of this stuff just isn't making sense. And I've titled it "The Keystone Cops."
Uh-huh.
And maybe if you want to join this, we got what, maybe 30 minutes left. If you
Yeah.
want to join the stage and express yourself, please come on. But I'm gonna go over some of these things that I just picked out. So gunshot residue. Did we ever hear about gunshot residue on Tyler Robinson's hands? Has that even been said? Has anybody asked that?
I don't we
I haven't
I
seen
don't
it.
even know. Exactly. I don't even know. Like I don't
Yeah,
even know what the updates are. They're saying is that they're seeking the death penalty. So once again, they don't even want him. Oh, I wish that they put them on the stand. Like they had a trial and I wish they gave him the chance to speak for himself and that they would actually take it and give their version of events because wasn't it also weird how there's a video that somebody's on the roof. So supposedly you were at the right place at the right time to capture somebody on the roof with your phone and did nothing with it, just uploaded it like, "Hey, doesn't this look weird?" That's what gets me. Because if that was me, I wouldn't be posting that. I would go to the nearest policeman and say, "Hey, I see somebody on the roof." Like I would make a scene out of it. And
You
they
know
just
what?
treat it like they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you know what gets me is there was probably 3,000 people there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was a lot.
All right. Everybody has a freaking phone.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we only seeing about 10 different videos cycling through right now?
Exactly.
Because I'm going to tell you, when we were at J6, we were all filming and we were all posting
Right.
because we were advised to be recording and have body cams and everything, the crowd to have body cams, to be taking video and posting it. And that's what we did because the media had no control over the flow of information
Exactly.
because everybody was recording. So where are the we're just putting questions out there. Where are the videos from all the other people that were there? Where were they?
True. True. I want to see that. We should demand transparency. Oh, and Fighter of Truth just brought this up. I'm glad she commented that Cash Patel didn't do a damn thing. The family turned him in. So this is what I told you, Jimmy, on the phone. I said, how is it that this government, the FBI, whoever, they have all the means necessary to find somebody like this? They have everything at their disposal. And they were asking the public for help. I mean, wasn't that the whole reason why we got the Patriot Act for terrorism? And is this not a domestic terrorist attack happening in our own land? So you can't get the traffic cams or the freaking NSA or to activate people's cameras to find this man, and you're
Yeah.
going on Twitter asking the public for their help. And it was the literal internet, 4chan, they were saying on X, that was coming up with suspects themselves and
Yeah.
theories themselves. And
Oh, I'm telling you, there's tons of eyes on this whole case.
I'm telling you, it
Tons,
stinks
millions of
to
eyes
me.
on it.
And I hate, you guys already know, I hate the FBI. I hate to see, they should all be abolished, in my opinion. But
There's
that's what gets me.
Yeah. So there's some other things. The gun in the woods. Did they determine if it was fired?
I don't know. And supposedly it was the FBI who found that, right?
Allegedly.
Okay, so allegedly they found this gun assembled as if like it was just laying there in some box or something.
Yeah. So the
Like
whole
picture
gun thing.
perfect.
So why we question the whole gun thing is because there have been a lot of guys and gals that have came out on X, on Instagram, who have expertise with firearms. And they have all come out and said the story that we're being fed is BS. Because and this is the one narrative that was not in the report today that came out. So the narrative was originally he got up on the roof, had the gun, made the shot, and then he disassembled the gun, put it in his backpack. There's a video showing him coming down. No one sees him holding a gun, so they say, well, he disassembled it while changing his clothes, by the way. Jumps down, puts it in the woods. And what you have to understand about Utah, that they don't have real woods like we have here in North Carolina. They have places where there's a lot of trees, but they don't have woods. So that was kind of it's a small detail, but whatever. So then he goes to the woods, puts the gun back together, and leaves it in a towel. They say that it takes. Yeah, you actually have to, and what everybody was saying, this is funny too, that you need a screwdriver, and it takes longer than if you're an expert at it. It takes about 2 minutes, but if you're not an expert at it, you could be up there for a while. But they said you had to have a screwdriver. So now today they're coming out and saying, well, we also got DNA prints on a screwdriver we found up there. You didn't say that the first day.
No, I hate this. This is the part that I hate, right? Because
This is why
like I
there's
told you,
conspiracy theories. Because they don't
exactly.
tell the truth.
This is the part that I hate because then you start going down this road and you can end up missing the bigger picture.
True. And
You can miss it.
that's why I mentioned that book Chaos at the beginning of the episode, to where that there's so much information that you're just to the point where like, oh, you know what? F it. I'm not even worried about it.
Exactly, and that's why I just logged off because I was just focused on the person and the motive, the real reasons of why and what happened.
Yeah,
But
there's so many questions. It's like, you know, Turning Point is an $80 million a year organization. You're going to tell me they can't afford a drone up in the sky?
and there was one. There's a clip that there was a drone
Oh,
flying around.
is there a clip out there now that says that there's
Yeah,
a drone?
there was a drone out there. Yeah.
All right, we'll see
I'm
what happens
telling
with
you,
that.
I know, I'm telling you, there's just too many red flags that I'm noticing.
And
And
another one I noticed was, whenever there is a mass shooting or whatever, it comes out pretty quickly that, oh, well, this person bought it from this particular store. You know how
right, yeah.
they haven't said anything about that.
This
Now
one, right.
it's being said it was a gift. I think I seen today where they said it was a gift to him from his grandfather, but what was the source of that? They haven't talked about that. There's just so
And
many. There's so many.
what about the skill level from that far away, so allegedly, to make a shot like that? Because to me, when I first saw it, I was like, that's no regular dude. That's
No,
not a
see,
regular person.
okay. So if this wasn't a Hollywood production
Right.
and it was legit, okay,
Right.
I'm sorry, that would have to be a professional shot.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, and even if you're not professional, maybe you're just a country boy and you're really good at that kind of stuff, then I understand. But we're talking about angles. We're talking about the amount of people that were there. How did he go unseen, unnoticed? How did he get to the roof that he was at? It's like there's a million other questions. If it was just a regular guy, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I would not doubt that it is as simple as a regular guy who hated
No.
Charlie. But
No. I
all of
have.
these questions lead up to the professionalism.
Yeah, I have ruled out lone wolf operation. This was not a lone wolf operation at all.
Right.
And then, you start. Well, the very first thing that I saw that raised my red flag was the poof on the shirt.
Well, I did hear that the shirt was actually he had a vest under, or if the shirt was those kind of shirts that are
Well, from another angle I saw, if you look at the video, you can actually not being graphic, folks, but you can see his nipples.
Oh, okay. So there was
And if you're wearing a bulletproof vest, you're not going to see your nipples.
well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe the shirt itself was bulletproof, like John Wick type of bulletproof clothes.
No,
Because
I hadn't heard that theory, but I hadn't heard that. But
okay, so this is a theory because when you actually look at the video, it looks like it ricocheted from the shirt into the neck, like as if it wasn't supposed to go up, but something like it hit something first and then it went up.
yeah, see,
So we
the only
need
thing I get.
uh-huh.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, we need the autopsy. We need to know the angle of how the bullet went in or up
There's
or
been no
out.
autopsy.
Why? I didn't hear
Thank
that. I thought
you.
we were waiting for that.
No, they put him in the casket already.
And they buried him already. So
Well, that was a
Well,
question that I had. I put it on my Facebook, and
that's a question.
And people said, well, we all know how he died, so we don't need an autopsy. Do we really?
Yeah, we
JFK.
do.
We
We
all
need
saw
it.
it. Well, people saw JFK and they still did an autopsy on JFK.
And is already public knowledge, right? Through those files?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
has it
well, yeah,
always
the
been public?
autopsy on JFK is out there. People can look that up.
Okay, okay. You see, I haven't really dug deep into it because
Yeah, there's been no autopsy.
Okay, so
Why?
you see
Why?
exactly that is another flag to me. It's not red or green, it's just a flag because
This is
to
what.
me,
And yeah,
I
go ahead.
we need that information.
And
We
there
just
was
need
no ambulance at the site. He gets carried off and gets put in an SUV.
Mm-hmm.
I go to rock when they had rock festivals around here, but I go to rock festivals and they have like a slew of ambulances out there. It's a
That's
large.
another flag. Why was there no police? I mean, there were so many people there. Wouldn't you think that there would be more police presence by the numbers? That there
Mm-hmm.
was just so many people there?
Yeah.
So where was the security of the event? Like people were saying that they weren't even checking tickets, that
Yeah.
anybody could enter and go
It was
in.
very laxed.
And that's what I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, there's so another one that I found was interesting is when they came out to announce the arrest. Um, usually, it's usually the attorney general or the prosecutor of that particular county, or maybe the state at times, that comes out and does that speech. That didn't happen here. The prosecutor or the AG did not come out and speak about this.
Was it Cash?
No, he's the FBI guy, and we're talking about
Oh, okay.
the state prosecutor, the state AG, or the county prosecutor, whatever. They didn't come out. So the theory is the evidence that they're being presented so shoddy that they're like, yeah, maybe they're getting nervous and they don't want to go on stage and talk about that. Don't know. Because the evidence, and like I said, Candace she's done a good job the last 2 nights and on her show laying out stuff. And you look at what she presents and you're like, oh yeah, this shit ain't adding up.
Right. Okay. So do you think the wife is in on it or is that genuine tears and stuff?
Okay. You want my conspiratorial side or my narrative side?
I want your
Both?
honest opinion.
All right. On the narrative side, if that was her for real and she came out and did that, I questioned it because she messed up a couple of times on saying a few things. It didn't look real to me. The message was okay. All right. But the conspiratorial side of me says that was not her. And she was reading a script because a lot of it seemed a little forced. The crying, the whispering, and then all
She
of a
could have been
sudden,
holding herself back. Like I was
she could.
honestly thinking that if that was me as a wife of or a widow, I would be holding back the hatred, like the bad words, because that would be the moment to let everybody know that my foot is on your neck.
I just find it odd that it came out like within 72 hours. I mean, that could just be me, but I'm just like, give the woman a chance to grieve and process this stuff. Why are you going to put it, unless she said that, hey, I got to go out there and do this.
I think so. Yeah.
It just seemed off to me.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah, it just seemed off a little bit.
So what's your other opinion? Because you said you had a different.
Oh, I kind of blended the two, kind of, sort of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I kind of blended because there's a part of me that thinks that wasn't really her doing that, and she was reading a script.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
we're putting everything on the table. All right.
Yeah.
Everything is on the table. I mean, like we already said, I think it already accomplished what it was supposed to. Because it had the opposite effect of what the left wanted. They wanted for us to get angry and to, rile up or worse. Like I don't know, but I
And
don't
this,
think it went that way.
and this is why we did the show the way we did tonight, because we didn't start the show off with this stuff, because you could
Right.
just go on and on back. We wanted to show an example of how people get stuck into a narrative.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I've got another 20 different things on here for different questions that we
Right.
can sit and argue, or not argue, but we can sit and ponder all day and miss
Exactly.
the bigger picture of the stuff that we talked at the beginning of the show. There was a reason why we did it this way.
Right. And that at least was intentional. Like, we don't script anything, but I knew for a fact that I was waiting for tonight.
Yeah.
I was hopeful that the shock value was gone, the hatred and anger was gone, and that I could actually present in this way, because I would have not been able to do this a week ago. You know what I'm saying? Like a few days ago.
And that's why we always say when news breaks, give it the 48 to 72 hour rule.
Man, that's so true because
We we gave this a week. This is the first time that
yeah,
I've come out publicly to talk about it.
me
Yeah, I
too.
put some stuff.
Right,
I
right.
put a lot of stuff on my Facebook page, but
Right, right. Me
I
too.
was wait. I was waiting for tonight to come be the first time I talk
Right,
about it.
right. And then I went on, with Gigi and Jesse, and I really came out. I was like, no, this is wrong, and like it was bothering me, but it was like that righteous anger, because none of us should be uh desensitized to it as if
Oh
this
no,
happens every day. No, you don't normalize this. You don't. you
no.
you you talk about it, and you talk it out, and you get through it, and you recognize the real signs, like the way we did tonight. Really
What?
quickly.
Yeah. Do we?
Uh-huh.
Is there anybody that wants to jump on real quick and share a thought, you guys? Because we're getting
Oh,
close to
yes.
we're getting
So
close to
I
midnight hour,
did.
but
Yeah, we only have like 10 minutes left, and the link is at the top if anybody does want to join. But JG says, for you, Jimmy, do you think that the timing of this has anything to do with the Qatar bombing?
yeah, because a lot of people don't know. It could. Okay, so you got my initial reaction. There was a yeah there,
Hmm.
because Israel bombed Qatar during this whole time. Then the other thing that was going on was the Senate was voting on releasing the Epstein files. That was going on the day of the assassination.
There you
So,
go.
so
Dehydrated Nurse was right on it. She said the same day Congress voted against the Epstein files, and like I said, look at the names who did it, because I think there was like 10 Republicans. I'm not sure how
yeah,
many,
you
but
got to
there
look
was
at the
a
next.
few of them, and you need to look up those names and
So,
take note.
so what do we have here? Okay, all right. This is where the sleuth comes in. We have the Epstein thing that went on. That's connected to Israel. We have Israel bombing Qatar because of leaders of Hamas. Oh, yeah, that's definitely connected to Israel. We have 250 legislators go on a trip to where? Israel.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? God, there was another one. Epstein, the trip, the
And the,
bombing.
the Congress, they put the anti boycotting
Yes,
thing.
yes,
Hmm.
that bill that they
Hmm.
were trying to get.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everything that was being done behind the scenes
Hmm.
had connections to Israel.
And the icing on the cake was that this all triggered right before the anniversary of 9/11, because this happened on the 10th. And then this whole entire week, it's just been back to back to back, a slap in our face as Americans.
Speaking of 9/11, we have said that 45-47 is the military operation time, right? That's the military operation going on, right?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
45 is what? Add 4 and 5?
Mm-hmm.
9,
9.
right?
Yeah.
Add 4 and 7?
What?
11.
11.
9,
9.
11.
11. Oh, okay. So you see, I But you know what? I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna say I appreciate the numerology because I do know that that's a real thing as well. I haven't
Yeah.
dived into it, but I appreciate how you bring all elements. You bring all elements into into this, and I like it.
See, this is why I like doing the show, because I'll be sitting here, I'm looking at this stuff, I'm doing research and everything, and I don't have anybody I can talk to about it.
So really quickly, Linda just joined us. So Linda,
Yeah.
you got about 3 minutes to add before we shut it down. Go ahead, Linda.
Okay, hello everybody. Okay, so this is Apostle Babe, Linda James, and I am centered to the left. And this is going to be this will not be something you see often, but I'm pretty much in full agreement with Jimmy Bell.
Oh my God.
I know, right? I'm just as shocked as you.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I'll take it.
I know, it's hilarious, right? And I'm serious. I'm not like just saying, pulling it out of my rear end or being silly or anything. I do think it was a setup by our own government, and I do believe he was in danger, and that they set things up for him to not have to be. So, and there is too many things that makes it look too slick. This is too smooth and too slick. And a lot of the whole, right off the bat, it's the left that's done this to us, and to build that kind of, I remember I heard you, Ruby, I believe you called into Jesse's show, and I heard the fear in your voice, like, and I understand that fear. And that to me was causing fear. And then also the right was not caring for, the things they were being called as well. So there's pitting us against each other all the time.
Yep.
All the time. And we can disagree on things. And I didn't much care for him, but the last thing I would have ever wanted for him is to be shot dead for his opinions that I don't agree with. I mean, you and I have disagreements on stuff, I don't have that kind of mindset, and we get to disagree. That's part of our freedom after we leave the watchtower, is that freedom to disagree and to civilly talk about it,
Yeah. Thank you, Linda, for sharing that.
Yeah, that's great.
You, my week has been made. Thank you.
and I was thinking of this much before the show tonight too. I'm like, this, and maybe he's off somewhere being safe. Who knows? That's my hope.
That's my hope too. That's what I really hope.
Yes, but and we just don't know what we don't know. But yeah, you're right.
Wow.
The patterns. How has politics? How has things been done in the past? It's the same playbook, and it really looks like the same playbook.
Well, Linda, I put on my Facebook, I think last night, I said the real question that people need to be asking is not all these questions I have about the event, but who is shaking the jar?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And follow the money is always smart.
Yeah.
Always smart. Yes.
And right now, everything's pointing to Israel to me.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that part, and I'm not sure about the double, because you'll mention double on some things. I'm not sure about that, but I do believe, even when they tried to shoot the president at that other place on the ear, and they get this young kid who's, came from a conservative family. This guy comes from a conservative family. I get the feeling that these kids are being, and I call him a kid just because I'm older. He's not a kid. He's, over 18 and everything. But I get the impression that these kids are being recruited into something that sounds good, and then they end up being put in a position to do something awful.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said in the beginning of the show.
Okay, I didn't catch that part. Sorry.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
We agree.
And that was one of the subjects that Charlie Kirk was talking about, was the radicalization going on in the universities.
Mm-hmm. And that was part of his ministry is to help, you know, and to bring people to Christ. You know, I personally didn't care for his style, but who cares? You know, I don't have to care nor agree with everybody's style. You know,
exactly.
And none of us do. But to be shot, you know, to be shot dead because of his beliefs, no, that can't be okay at all. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you for giving me this time, Ruby.
Thank you, Linda. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
joining.
Thank you for joining in and watching the show with us. We appreciate that.
Sure. And I appreciate both of you, even when I disagree with y'all. I appreciate you too.
Hey,
I appreciate your intention.
It's all good, Linda. We all good.
Yeah, I hear the intention more than maybe stuff I disagree with. So yeah, thank you, and I'll talk with y'all later.
Thank you, Linda.
All
Have a good
right.
night.
Thank you, Linda. Have a good night. And thank you to everybody in the chat. Everybody was saying how great of a show it was tonight. I find this comment very interesting.
Yeah, what's the chat saying?
He says that him and his wife was a CIA operative according to the GIA report. I don't know what that is, but that's interesting.
Yeah, there's been talk that Charlie Kirk could have been a double agent.
You see, I couldn't believe that now because remember what came out about that actor from Austin Powers that he was a CIA agent.
Mike Myers.
Turned into actor.
Yeah.
What is that? Like that just flew and nobody talked about it? Like what? So I'm gonna have to dig. I'm gonna have to dig for that because I saw that somewhere and I almost croaked. I was like, what? What? So wait, he's not an actor or he is an actor? Because he is an actor, but he's an actor.
Yeah.
And they're using him.
Yeah.
Like what?
You have to leave everything on the table. As crazy as some of these things sound, you have to leave it. You have to leave them on the table.
Yeah, we do. So I thank you, Jimmy, for bringing all of that without fear and not caring what people are going to think because I don't care what people think either. And I'm just glad that you've done this with me. I don't think many people would have been so willing or wanting to do something like this with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of know that I kind of get the same kind of flack you do. You're like your crowd. And I am thankful that somebody like Jimmy every Tuesday without me even asking him to join this joins. You know what I'm saying? So I feel the exact same way that now I have somebody that I can be a little out of the box with and a little crazy sometimes.
You think about the way we've met and the way, we came to be a team. It wasn't just I think that there was more involved in a higher power, a higher sense to bring us together. The universe brought us together because in everyday normal circumstances, can y'all see a friendship? I mean, it could happen, but how old are you going to be? 29, 30? You hit 30 yet?
29, yeah.
29.
Not yet. 29.
A 29-year-old New York Puerto Rican hooking up with a 52-year-old guy from North Carolina talking about politics.
That I've never met before in real life.
That would not happen in everyday association. So for this to come together, I think there's a reason for everything, and there's a reason why we do what we do. We may not understand it, but we do it. And that's kind of like, I feel like in this whole thing, there's been many times throughout the past 5 years where I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't stop. I have to continue to do what I do
more than
until
ever.
this is all over.
Exactly.
And I'm going to say it will be over. This war is going to end.
Right.
And there are folks that may not see that now, but I do believe that we are going to see justice. We are going to see accountability. And and I say it every week, and sometimes I wish I wasn't so freaking on it when I say, oh, guys, it's going to get crazier, because it does. You know,
It's necessary because it has to be destroyed for it to be reconstructed, and we're going to be a part of that reconstruction. I believe that.
Correct.
So I agree.
So,
But you know,
yeah.
Jimmy, one day I am gonna change that. Maybe one day. You're probably the only person that I would do this for, is to make a trip to North Carolina and meet you in person, because I've never met you in person before, and yet on screen we've done so well together. You know, the chemistry is there. We do the show, and I'm gonna one day make a trip.
Well, how far are you away from Sarasota?
An hour, like 45 minutes, because I'm
In,
from
in,
there. I used to live there.
in November, that's when me and Carissa go down to Florida. We go down to Siesta Key and everything. So we need to schedule it to where we can have dinner one night.
Yes, I'm so excited. I am so
So
excited because
I'll talk. I know we go on this vacation, and Carissa's like, I don't want to meet anybody, but I'm gonna be like, let's have dinner with Ruby and her husband. You know,
yeah,
in
and
Sarasota.
yeah, because I live like 45 minutes away from there, and I even have family in North Carolina, so I was gonna use the excuse to hit you because I have all my family in Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm an hour and a half from Charlotte.
Exactly. It's perfect. We're gonna make multiple trips. This is just in the making, because I know that I have to get better at making friends. So I'm gonna
Well, I guess my final thought for tonight is, one, don't live in fear. Everything you see right now, you're seeing it for a reason. Don't believe anything the media is saying. Don't argue with people over the narrative that the media wants you to argue over.
Exactly.
Try to listen to people a little bit more that you may disagree with. And maybe try to find out with folks like that, maybe try to find out what you do agree on first. Then you can have the conversations on what you don't agree about. There are going to be more events. And I do believe, I asked folks if this was a scare event. Some folks said no, they didn't believe it. I just put it out there because I totally don't believe this is a scare event, as we've been said that's going to happen. I do believe that's going to be either the aliens or nuclear war. So those are coming. That narrative is coming. Write it down. But stay with us on the Unrelenting Political Corner, and we will try to help you through it.
Exactly. But you know what? After this Charlie stuff, I can say without a doubt, I'm not afraid anymore. Because in season 1, I used to give off that vibe, and I remember that. Like I used to be like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? But you know what? After what had just happened with Charlie, it put a little hardness on my heart. Like I'm not afraid anymore. It's like I'm ready. I'm ready to fight back because of what happened. So it woke me up in
Good.
that sense, and I'm not afraid anymore.
Good.
Yeah.
Did everybody like the show tonight?
Yes, the chat has been on fire since we started. I love it. And we averaged like 68 live views the entire time.
Really?
And yeah, that's pretty high for us.
That
And that's
is
just
pretty
what
good.
YouTube shows us. You know what I'm saying? Like once you go off live, the analytics, they change. So I find it very surprising that we're still like at 50 the entire show. So I want to
Thank
thank
you.
everybody for
Thank you,
watching
guys.
and commenting. It's been an amazing night.
We really enjoy we really enjoy doing this and being there for you guys. Thank you for your support. It does mean a lot. I really do appreciate that. And hopefully that there's something in our shows that you can resonate with and you can take back and help educate other people. Because that's all this is we're getting an education right now.
Yeah.
And a real education.
Yeah. Aw, Nurse says we love you both. Thank you guys. All right. So next Tuesday, hopefully we can catch up on everything that's been happening behind the scenes because this whole Charlie situation was too heavy on my heart. You know, like this was necessary. So next Tuesday, hopefully we'll dive into more like news kind of stuff and see
I'm sure
what happens.
we'll have updates. We'll have updates on this because
Yeah.
I'm gonna still stay on it and listen and see what's going on. So we'll give updates.
Of course, yeah. All right, guys. So thank you so much. Don't forget to follow the Facebook page, Unrelenting Political Corner, and go follow Jimmy too, because Jimmy is on top of a lot of things, and he be posting a lot of great stuff. So definitely follow Jimmy on there. I'm also on X more politically. So if anybody is ready for X, okay, don't be shocked by what you see on my X page. I am full blown political on there. A little more than YouTube because obviously YouTube censors stuff. So, you know, I could only talk about things in a certain way. But on X, it's free. You know what I'm saying? So get ready. If you're on X, get ready. Yeah, if you want to join the Facebook group, we have a group as well, even though I'm not on Facebook that much. But I know Jimmy is, so I want to just leave it, you know, there just in case you guys want to connect on a, you know, a deeper level. Yeah, so thank you guys, and I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you, Jimmy, for everything.
You're welcome. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Good night.
Trump, yeah. Okay, bury him a legend, yeah. Trump, hey. Okay, America's biggest blessing. Free speech advocate, packing, never lacking it. I just bought another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gang. Okay, the White House going crazy now.